What's going on, folks? We are 9 p.m. Hope everyone is doing well. What do we got on the show tonight? We have the regulars. Let's just start in the upper left corner as you're looking at the screen. So, Mr. Cody Mack, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, actually, I'm Henry Wright from Henry Wright TV. Get it right, well. No, I'm doing good. Hope everybody's doing well. Looking forward to the show.
Need to be about 10 years younger and a little cleaner shaven. So, but the gentleman above me,
on top.
a little bit more on top. Gentleman above me, Mr. Brian Daigle. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing feedback.
Robot.
Your connection's
what did you say?
Wonky there, Brian.
Is that better?
Yeah,
that's better.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, just happy to be back on. I hope everyone's doing good. And as I said, sorry for missing the last couple, but a pleasure to be back with all you guys.
Sounds good. In the upper right-hand corner, we have Mr. BobSpur TV. How are you guys doing?
Glad to be here. What an intro. What an intro. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful and brilliant. And then to my left, we have Mr. Nuno Espirito Santo. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm actually the bun, but I've lost my bun. It's good to be here. If you find my bun, just let me know. I miss my bun.
Do you have a bun?
I had a bun.
Had a bun, yeah. It's no.
Had a bun.
In the oven.
It's in a bun?
Is that where my bun is? Is it in the oven?
It's in the oven, mate.
I need to find the oven.
And to my right, we have the notorious Mr. K.
Evening, guys. Evening, guys. Thank you, Will, for having me on the show. Who am I supposed to be, by the way? Who's meant to be here?
You are Danny the Bun.
I thought I was Danny the Bun.
No, you're in the show normally.
You wish you were.
He's a handsome fella, that Danny.
Piss off, Danny.
In the bottom left, we have the guy who's more Irish than anyone, Mr. Brian Ireland himself. What's going on, man?
Yeah, not much, mate. Happy to be here. Welcome everybody to the show. I'm looking forward to you running it this time and not me, so I can just sit back and relax.
Sit back and relax.
Yeah.
And below me is
So below you. Oh, below you.
Below me. No.
Easy.
He's in the right position. No, he's in the right position.
You are.
I'm explaining. There's a little understanding problem. Don't worry.
He's in the right. You're in the right position for him, there, Iggy. Just below him.
Glorious.
Got off to a good start there.
Italy's biggest Spurs fan, or England's biggest Italy fan, whichever way you want to call that there. Mr. Iggy himself.
Guys. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to always be here with you guys.
And Johnny Einstein, a.k.a. Shy. What's going on, buddy? Back there in the bottom right. Monster Echo.
Oh.
Somebody's got their YouTubes on at the same time.
It came on, popped in, then popped out.
That was Stell. He's admitted it.
I get it. That's me.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Shy guy, what's going on?
Yeah, it's all good. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on. And sense of relief, really.
Yeah.
Yes, a really big sense of relief, I have to say.
Yes.
Yes, I think it is a bit of a sense of relief. Lots of different folks in the comments tonight. I'm sitting in the middle to kind of be the moderator for tonight's show. But for the first 90 minutes, we're going to be debating Nuno Espirito Santo. Is he good for Spurs? This is a good deal. Is it a car wreck? Or is it somewhere in between? So, who wants to take first stab at it?
He's
We've got
fantastic.
a bit of an exclusive, haven't we?
Fantastic.
We've got Brian Ireland's door open, so we're managing to see into his a bit more into his life behind him.
Yeah, it's the other part of my studio, and it's too freaking hot to close it, mate. So I'm leaving it open. Sorry for people who
seen things we've never seen before.
My bag in front of the door so it doesn't blow
Bag in a
open.
chair.
It's like 35 degrees here in Toronto.
The misery's over. The misery's over. Come on, guys. The misery's over. 72 days is finally done now. We can stop counting. We can stop scratching that mark against the bed. It's over. 72 days. So he's come in and he's taken away that pain now. So as far as I'm concerned, blank slate for him, because I don't know what he's going to do. I hope he does a fantastic job. And that's all it is. Plucky Spurs. We just hope. As far as Levy, he's still crap at doing his job.
On that
Very
note,
good.
I think that's perfectly set up for me to take over.
There it is. Right over the
Fine,
plate for you
mate.
there, Bri. Right over the plate.
Mr.
Where's
K,
the
you
mute
just
button?
you just set that up for me, mate. That was like a David Beckham assist for me. So, listen, he's come in. I'm not happy about it. He's not the manager I wanted. I don't think he's the manager that anyone wanted. But he's here. He's here, and for the time being, it's what we've got to deal with. Do I think he's going to achieve greatness? No. Do I think Pep Guardiola could achieve greatness at Tottenham Hotspur? No. And for one reason and one reason only, it's the man at the top. He's there.
God.
We've got to help him as we can and got to be there. But like I said, it doesn't matter who comes in. We've just put a band-aid on the wounds just to stop the bleeding until Levy fucks up again. That's all that this is. Nothing's going to change in that part. We've got a manager brilliant, like Mr. K said. We don't get today 73, 74, 75, 110. As I've been saying, I think a few people said what we'll see with Nuno and the board going forward is what happens the second the transfer window closes. That's when we're going to get a true indication of what we're going to be doing or where we're going. But we all know the end result.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I got a lot more than 72 notches on my bed. But, I think, I got 73. I think we just have to accept it. We just have to accept it, don't we? It's we're not expecting him to come in and win the league or qualify to the top four. Who knows? But there's no expectancy from Nuno. We just wanted a manager in. We've got him. There's a sense of calming down now. Hopefully can bring an identity in, what we haven't had for a season, 2 seasons now. And we'll back him. And of course, like any other manager, if he doesn't do well and there are glaring mistakes, i.e. Jose and Mason, then we'll call him out. It's simple as that. We'll treat him like any other manager, but he's in. He's here to help us, and we'll back him.
Yeah, just to sort of add to what everybody's saying, I think it's the same. It's a stopgap, right? It's a scenario where we weren't going to get any of the targets we wanted. We saw that sort of just fall apart for the last 72 days, and unfortunately, we got sort of the guy who was left who would take the job. Fortunately, though, he is a good manager. He's not a great manager, but he's a good manager. He's got Premier League experience, and we should get behind him and try to make the best of a bad situation and try to enjoy our football again. I know that's going to be hard with Levy still in charge, but separate the two and enjoy what he brings to the pitch.
Who's next? Mr. Iggy.
Got it. Right. I'm happy, relieved that we have got a manager in place finally. It's been far, far too long. In regards to the person that we wanted, we know fully well it wasn't the top of our list. But then again, you have to look at where we are. We are not in the Champions League bracket. We're not in the Europa League bracket. We're in a conference bracket. So the tiers of managers available to us has fallen down. So in that aspect, so if we look at it in tier 3 managers, I think he was the best of the lot, in my opinion. My agenda with the board and with the club is still there, the same way you will have. But for him, for Nuno Espirito Santo, for him, I really want him to do well. I do. And I can't not wish a new manager that's had the balls to take on this job because
He's
you need
brave.
balls.
Just
Yeah, you need balls that could take on this job, given what we all know. For that, I thank him because we're finally not we're not managerless anymore, and I really do hope that he does well. Do I think he will do well? Time will tell. All I can say at this moment in time is I really do hope that he does. But for him, not for anyone else, and for the fans, of course, they deserve it. But you know, for the guys above and all of them, no, of course not. But all the best, Nuno.
Jai, how about you?
Yeah, do you know what, guys? It feels weird. Honestly, it feels weird that we've got a manager. It's just been that long, and the saga has gone on endlessly. And honestly, today I thought to myself, you know, oh God, we've got a manager. We've actually got a manager at the moment. It's unbelievable. Listen, you know, to everybody, it's an underwhelming appointment. We all know that, I think.
Yeah.
But like everybody, you know, has said, we've got to support the guy. You know, at the end of the day, there are candidates you know, definitely wouldn't have wanted at Tottenham, and he's definitely above those people.
100%.
Talking to a friend of our show, Tottenham Away, Ian Hickman, who we were going to have on tonight. Unfortunately, couldn't make it, but I had a long chat with him last night, being a diehard Wolves fan, and he gave me a lot of positives. He gave me a lot of positives about the guy. The Wolves fans loved him. They enjoyed what he did there in terms of where they were and where they got to. And he had a lot of positive things to say about him. So it's given me, again, that horrible word, hope for Spurs, which the hope that kills us. But yeah, I mean, listen, we've got to get behind him now and hope he does the best for our football team.
I agree with you very much. And Mr. Cody Mack, welcome. What are your thoughts, Mr. Mack?
Yeah, you know, I think there's many different angles that you can look at the appointment of Nuno Espirito Santo as a Tottenham fan. I don't think that it's one that inspires us to think that we are a club with the top ambitions, the same ambitions as the likes of Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Leicester City. You know, so in that respect, it is a little bit underwhelming. But at the same time, if you look at the state of the club, we aren't exactly in a position to give a top manager a platform to succeed. I mean, Jose Mourinho, love him or hate him, the style that he plays and the way that he presents himself in the media and all the baggage that comes with him, he is still a world-class manager. And I think he's capable of good things. I'm not saying that it was his fault that we failed, but you know, we're an utter mess right now. You know, what kind of football club goes 72 days without appointing a manager? I mean, if you count the number of clubs that either sacked or had a manager move on and replace them in the time that it took us to replace Jose, it boggles the mind. But on the other hand, when I look at a guy like Nuno Espirito Santo, I can see some positive attributes when you compare him to some of the coaches that we've had in the past. I see a little bit of Pochettino in him. I see a little bit of Harry Redknapp in him. I think he's the kind of coach who is going to both maintain good relationships with the players, but also be able to hold them accountable in a way that doesn't destroy their relationships. So I'm excited to see what we do in the transfer window in order to give him the tools necessary to succeed. And I think that he could end up being a good managerial appointment. I think in a sense it's disappointing because, you know, we're not where we want to be as a club.
I swear, Cody for Tottenham PR. We've got to make this a hashtag. I've been saying this for ages. His way with words is honesty. Cody, we need to get that. Yes to Cody PR. Hashtag it. That's what we need to do.
Get him the job. Get him the job. And before I go into my opinion on the matter, make sure that you go into the description of this video, and there are 5 links to the 5 main channels of this 9 at 9 p.m. show. Make sure you go and subscribe to every single one of them. You've got Henry Wright TV, who will be back with us starting next week. BobSpur TV. Make sure he's the guy. He's the very handsome gentleman in the upper right hand corner. Make sure you go and subscribe to his channel. You have Tottenham Away, which makes up the majority of this panel in a whopping little weird like diagonal
triangle thing at the corner thing.
And then we have
work it, Bob. Work it, Bob. Work it, Bob.
Shelfside Spurs, which is Mr. Johnny Einstein. I don't know why I just did that, but I did. And he's Shelfside Spurs. Make sure you go and subscribe to that. And then my channel or our channel that you're watching right now, Will Stewart THFCRants. If you are not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do so. And if you click the link that's in the description, you can become a member to the channel and get exclusive content, discounts, and all that other fun stuff. Anyway,
Will, you have just clearly you haven't asked Stell yet, but before you
did I not? Did I forget Stell?
Yeah.
No, surely not.
I didn't, Stell. I saw you sitting there wondering why.
I'll throw mine in, and then we'll give Stell his say, because this is going to be that's going to be the one that sets the conversation off for the night. For me, not my first choice, but I don't think that it's a bad one. I think that he is a far more progressive manager than people give him credit for. I think he's been very successful in the clubs that he has been a part of. And I think he had a better CV coming into the club than Pochettino did. Now, am I saying he's going to be Pochettino? Absolutely not. But the outlook starting out looks better. So with that, Mr. Stelios, you may begin.
Go for it, G. Go for it.
You're still thinking.
Oh, he's not.
Do you want some intro music, Stell, for this, or what are you waiting for exactly?
He's waiting for an entrance.
Do you know, in all my life supporting this club, all my life, I can honestly say, for the first time ever, I couldn't give a shit about this management appointment one bit. Honestly,
Are you still upset?
I just don't care one bit. Whoever we appointed, I don't care. I feel so soulless, just emotionless about this all. Brian Daigle can vouch for me on this. When we were at school, it was terrible. You know, we were signing players like Ramon Vega, bringing through youngsters like Anthony Gardner, and watching George Graham lift titles and FA Cups at Arsenal. We then had a bit of a change, and it got worse. And Arsenal brought in Arsene Wenger and completely obliterated us. And in the last 20 years, I've watched us bring in managers like Jacques Santini, Jerry Francis, AVB, shit, more shit, mediocre transfers. And then for the one time in my entire Spurs life, the one time, Harry Redknapp actually made me enjoy supporting Tottenham. And then Pochettino took me to places I never thought I'd ever feel supporting this club. Never in my life. And this new stadium came along, the new academy that was going to be this, pioneering centre of amazing youth that was going to come out of it. And we were right on the brink of actually becoming wonderful, something we haven't done since 1961. 60 fucking years. We were on the brink of becoming wonderful, and it all got taken away. And it just went on a shit show journey for 2 years. And now I'm supposed to be happy that we've got Paratici, been there, done that, Kamoli, Arneson, Mitchell. And now we've got Nuno, been there, done that, AVB, Harry Redknapp. And I'm supposed to suddenly be ecstatic and happy about it. Guys, I'm sorry, man. I'm just not feeling this at all. It's not just Nuno, it's Paratici. It's any manager that comes in that doesn't say to me, this is a significant change in direction of the club. This just smells like more of the same. Been there, done it, got 5 T-shirts, about to wear my 6th T-shirt. Until I see Nuno lift the Premier League title, an FA Cup or a European trophy, I'm struggling.
Okay, then.
To be honest with you, I don't think everyone's jumping up and down with excitement over this appointment or any other appointment that wouldn't be. I think Conte would have been the only one that we would have been Let's be honest. Conte would have been the only one that we would have all been happy about. No one's elated. You can sense the atmosphere even here now. No one's elated about it, and no one is saying, you know.
Wait. I'm elated. I'm happy.
You're elated about it.
At the very beginning.
I'm happy.
I'm super happy.
But not
got
like
my booze.
Excited.
I'm gonna get super happy. I got chewing gum, no cigarettes. I'm super excited. You don't know, man. I'm so excited. Before we had absolutely nothing. Now we got something, and something is better than nothing. So therefore, I'm happy. 72 days. I don't want to carry on.
Mr. K, it's like not having eaten for a week and someone throws a cracker at you.
Honestly,
that's all it is.
It is. Honestly,
that's all it is.
It's a pretty tasty cracker.
It's not Ferrero Rocher.
I agree.
It's not Ferrero Rocher. It's not even a Snickers bar.
You're starving. The cracker is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's those little sweetie chocolates that you get at the bottom of party bags, right? Yeah, that nobody else wants.
The candy
those little candy sticks there that you think, oh my days. No, it's not that one.
Maybe as it occurred that maybe that was the tactic to use to leave you starving for 72 days to throw you a cracker so you can be elated about it.
That's not a tactic. That's a reality. If you jump off a cliff, you're going to go like that. And that's exactly what's happened to us. We've been banging on about it. Bagel.
Bagel. Believe me, I think
it's not like he hasn't heard that one before, Mr. K.
No, I have to say,
dry and bagel.
Mr. K. No, when you said that, honestly, funny enough, with my name being Daigle and me being Jewish, you're not the first person to call me that. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, every time I hear that as well, people think they're the first person that said it to me and think they're comedic geniuses.
I don't think he did it intentionally.
No, I don't think he did. No, exactly. Exactly.
My point is this, right? Yeah, is that part of my brain is saying to me, no. But my body is saying, yeah, 3-4-3.
I've heard that song somewhere.
Yeah.
Pedo.
My mind's telling me no.
I love football. You've got a manager, you can start dreaming about the football being played. Once you've got the manager in place, you start thinking, all right, like, how is he going to set it up? How are the players going to play? Your brain starts to get excited. And
I've heard this 100 times before over the last 30 years. I'm just hearing the same thing repeat. Just like going on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook or on these podcasts, I hear fans saying, let's get behind the manager. Let's get behind him. I'm bored of it. Guys, in the famous words...
so many times. You get blocked so many times, don't get bored of it. You get excited when you get blocked. We're talking about Giza. You like it again and again. I don't understand.
He
likes the battle on Twitter more than anything.
I live for it. I live for this. I live for dreaming about a cracker. I can't wait to have another cracker.
Are you, Sal, question for you. Are you going to go to games or are you going to just not watch?
I'm going to go to games to the point of where I say, do you know what? If the football is entertaining, I'll watch it because for me, it's an opportunity to meet up with friends I don't get to see often, so it's a social thing. But if the football's not great, no, I'll sell my tickets.
Okay, but so I have two questions I want to ask. And Scott M., you're always in the comments, and you are so anti-Nuno. I find it amusing. You need to come on a show at some point in time, whether it's this one, not this show right now, but a rant show, a different show, a show on a different channel. We got to hear your opinion because I mean you can't not.
But he's got good stuff to say.
And then yeah,
I don't understand.
Sand, he's not a gooner. Okay, enough with that
Definitely
noise.
not.
Right?
Definitely not.
Scott M has always got something good to say. Trust me.
This is the guy that's stalking me.
Good, man.
He just doesn't like you or for whatever it is, but
he stalks me everywhere. Everywhere I go, he follows me everywhere I go. This guy.
Everywhere you go.
It's the Sandy boy. It's the Sandy boy.
And Kenneth, don't worry. This show isn't open for everyone to come on, so you don't have to worry about that tonight.
Bagel.
Wow, all of a sudden, I was a little delayed there, Bob, wasn't it? Or
yeah. Bring a bit of humor too.
What I want to know is how many people are against this here? So, Brian, you said you weren't happy. Are you against it?
I'm kind of like I said, I'm kind of on the fence of between against it and okay with it, kind of thing. Because Snell says some things like you said, we've heard this time and time again. And like I said, it doesn't matter if Pep Guardiola had come in, I'd still be feeling the same way, because Pep Guardiola needs certain things, and one of the certain things he's not going to get are from Levy, guaranteed. So, listen, it just, I don't know how to say. Listen, I'm going to support him because he's the manager of my club.
Of course.
That's who I support. Does this mean I'm not going to still cause absolute pandemonium on the 10th and 17th of August? Hell no. I'm going to go hell for leather when I come back for this protest, because my protest ain't against Nuno. It's about the parasites that run the club. So
it just seems that there's a sense that we if we get behind a manager, it means that we're kind of pro Levy. It's not at all the case. I don't believe
Not
it
even
is
remotely close to the
no,
same thing.
absolutely. I'm just supporting a guy because he's going to manage a team that we need a manager. Somebody had to come in to do the job. And that's what we're supporting, the manager and the team. The different, that's one thing, but the club and the owners, and that's completely two different things. So I don't believe, if we back the manager, that means that we're supporting Levy's choices. I don't believe it is the case for me anyway. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I just think people think we're thick.
No comment.
I just think people think we're thick, that we can't differentiate between Levy out and backing our manager. If that was the case, then whichever manager we sign, it ain't going to change with Conte. Singing from the sun, rooftop with Conte coming in, Levy still would have been there, and we saw exactly what his mindset is.
I would have backed Levy if Conte come. I would have backed Levy.
But what if he didn't back him? What if he went through the same thing? We saw what happened with Mourinho.
You're on about 20 years. You're on about 20 years of hurt. Of whatever. Why would it change just because Conte comes?
Because Conte wouldn't have taken the job unless he was guaranteed the things he needed to get his job done.
But still,
same with Jose.
Jose was desperate.
Let me finish.
One at a time.
I'm not finished.
That's the one at a time.
Jose has not. Jose has basically said in a roundabout way that he was lied to. And for me, okay, so you've got your personal opinion. For me, even if Conte came, and I've said it on the stream, even if Conte came in, my question still would have been asked for Levy. Why would it change? It would have been a PR thing. Why would it be backed? Why would it suddenly change after 20 years? My questions would still be there with Levy, but I'd still back Conte because he's got something about him. But like I say, I think people find it hard to understand how people can differentiate. I mean, I've got a favourite son. Right, I've got my 6-year-old, my favourite. I can differentiate with people doing my favourite and the other kids. Sorry, but everyone else. But
can I explain for you?
But no. Levy out.
What a terrible dad. You're a very bad dad.
The way I sum it up, Stel, is I hate Levy more than what I'll ever back Nuno.
I don't hate Nuno, by the way. I haven't got an issue with Nuno. I haven't got an issue with Nuno.
No, I know you haven't. But I'm just saying, I'll dislike. I'll always dislike. It'll always be Levy out first for me.
Yeah.
I'll back Nuno till he messes up, and if he messes up on the pitch, you guys know I'll call him out.
And Scott said he's going to come on, maybe to try to get on a rant show. Scott, are you by chance the BobSpur TV, Scott? I don't know, but if you are, let us know.
No, I think it's a different dog.
Different dog. You mean like in the picture?
Can I ask you guys a question, right? With Nuno Espirito Santo.
Right. Brian wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say it's two things directed at you, basically, Stel. So, first of all, if Conte had come, he would have been lied to and bullshitted, and the same thing would happen regardless, because we all know Levy can say something 1 minute. You can still no, it's not that, because you go on about not supporting or Spurs for that long, and we've seen it for 14 years. He doesn't go, all of a sudden, the light. It would have happened. Period.
But that's why Conte
and Jose Mourinho.
But also, what you can't say is you can't say I'm Levy out. No, what I'm saying, I'm Levy out. I don't give a fuck who comes in. It could be Conte. We could get Pep and Guardiola together. If we got them both together, I would have said, do you know what? I back Levy. You will never, ever, ever, ever hear me say those words. It doesn't matter who. He could go and sign Lewandowski. He could go and sign the greatest players in the world. I will not back him. There's 20 years of his leadership, 14 of them which have been pathetic, nonsense, bullshit all the way. And you can't say you'd back Levy if Conte came in, because the same shit would have happened.
I don't know. I disagree.
I've got 14 years of proof, as you know.
Yeah, I don't understand what it is about Conte that makes you think that it's somehow different, despite what we just saw with Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho is a serial winner. You say he was desperate. Perhaps he was. Perhaps he really needed a job. But the bottom line is that he was craving to get Jose Mourinho in for years. He'd been trying to court him to try to bring him in.
Exactly.
He brought him in, and he still didn't back him, even though he was trying to get him for that long. I have zero reason to think that same thing was going to happen, or that Conte all of a sudden was going to be the magic bullet. There's no reason to think that based on what the evidence suggests. So it's a strange one for me.
I can see Stell's plausibility.
It's not strange.
I can see Stell's plausibility in the fact that because Conte turned us down, right? Because he wasn't going to get back. That if he had said yes, he would have been backed. But even if that is
would have been
the case,
told he would have been backed.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
told he would have been
Exactly.
backed.
Different
Or
thing than
made
being
promises, had clauses in the contract, yada yada yada. But
He would have walked after 2 months.
Yeah.
even
That I agree.
if
Conte
even,
don't fuck about.
even if Conte had come in that exact circumstance that Stell mentions, I would still be Daniel Levy out for other reasons. I would not back Daniel Levy. I wouldn't support him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Because
Same.
I think
When we
Daniel
start-
Levy is a idiot, and he needs to leave the club in any managerial capacity. I wouldn't have necessarily been Enoch out. I may have changed my views on Enoch as a company as a whole, but Daniel Levy as a person, I don't think needs to be involved in any aspect of the day-to-day operations of the club, period, ever, for any reason. That's my
for
assessment.
me, when we started the show, we all said our first bit, and I said what I said. What I was trying to say now is I'm just completely soulless at the moment because I haven't seen a behavioural change in ambition. And for me, had Conte come, that would have been a trigger to a behavioural change in ambition that would make me think, right, I can get behind this board now. But because it never happened, it's like, well, we're just repeating the same, but with a different outfit on that I've been witnessing for the past 20 years. That's just my opinion. It's just where I sit, you know?
Guys, I think the main difference between Jose and Conte is that we can all imagine Levy pissing Conte off.
Imagine it's a guarantee.
Yeah,
But can you imagine what would happen next?
No, the thing is, Conte's a live wire. He's a firework. If he said something, he would have come in on certain guarantees, and as soon as those guarantees came falling short, he would have just bombed the whole place up and leave. That's exactly what would have happened, guys. The bottom line is, I hear what you're saying, still, and I agree. You want Tottenham to go back up and pick up from where we left off after the Champions League final.
I want to
totally
see the
get that.
ambition.
Yeah, but we haven't got it. We're fully aware that this club, and the ownership do not have that ambition. To me, right now, the best, we're going to be always in that Europa 5th, 6th, 7th spot. We're not going to go beyond that unless there's a dramatic change in the direction that we wish to take, which isn't there at the moment. We know that. We know that, and I'm in agreement in that part of things. I do agree with you. We're not ambitious enough to then go back in the top 4 or to at least challenge in the top 4 and so forth. For now, we are no more than what we are now. Where we finish this season in that 7th, 6th, 5th, that's the most. The most they can do next season is to bring us back into Europa League. No more than that.
And how can I get excited about that, Guy? How can I get
I'm not excited. I'm not excited about. All I'm saying is I'm going to support the guy that's come in to do a job for Tottenham Hotspur. That's what I'm saying. But I'm fully aware. I'm fully aware of our ambition. That part of things has not changed. I'm not excited about the direction that we're taking because we're not going back to the levels of the 2019 European Cup final. I'm completely aware of that. For that aspect of things, no. I know already from now. I can tell you now that we're not going to be beyond Europe. We're not going to be beyond Europa level. That's the level that we're going to be aiming for at the end of next season, unless there's a serious change in the transfers and anything else. We're none the wiser whether Kane is staying or going. We're none the wiser whether Son's staying or going. So we could potentially be losing 2 of our best players still today.
The only get out of jail card I will give anyone on this topic is if by the end of August. You just touched on it. If by the end of August there is a dramatic change in personnel that's joined this club and Deadwood that's left, then I might get on board. But if that doesn't happen, it's even further proof it's the same old, same old.
So you'd be Levy in if that happens. Still,
I don't know about the Levy in bit.
I think Bob. It will take a couple of transfer windows. It's something Brian Daigle and Brian Ireland said. If he just does it as a one-off window, and then that's it for 2 years, no. But if he does it for 2-3 years, then potentially I could get on board with it. Yeah, I could.
All right, Shy.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I was having this conversation with JP this evening. The first piece of the jigsaw is getting a manager in, which we've literally just done. The next part of the jigsaw is who's staying, who's going, and who are we going to get in. That is the next time, like Sales just said, we can judge at the end of the transfer window where we are at. That is the next stage we're looking at. If, as Sales said, if we don't get rid of this deadwood and they start going, right, here are the players you've got, you have a go at them, just like Jose did, just like Poch did towards the end. These are the players you've got, and we're not changing them over. We're just going to go with what we've got, with a couple of new additions, maybe a couple of. If that's the case, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work. We flogged these players. It'll be 3 managers then, and we just can't afford to do that. We can't afford to do that. We need to get that deadwood out. We all know who they are. We need to bring some of the academy through. We need to bring in some astute signings. Paratici seriously needs to do his homework in terms of what we need for the right price and whatever, and then maybe we can feel a little bit hopeful about going. Listen, this Nuno has got already at the beginning of this season. We've got Arsenal and Chelsea to play right in pre-season, right, and then Manchester City. All right. Now, let's forget the fact they're friendlies, right? These are not games, as Spurs fans, you want to be losing at any time, right? Whether they're friendlies or league games or whatever. Listen, we could win all 3, we could lose all 3. But if we lose all 3, we're going into this season with a lot of negative fans. I can tell you that. If we lose to Arsenal, lose to Chelsea in pre-season, then lose to Manchester City, it's not going to be a good look for anybody, I'll be honest.
Can you just bring up a comment, Will, by the Yorkshireman underneath that one that you just brought up?
Yorkshireman.
Which came under the Scott M1. I want to address that for me and Stel. Well, I'll address it for me to begin with. So,
yeah, that's the one.
So, the one that says, why waste 20 years of our life with Tottenham when you can't bring yourself to watch them and they make your life unhappy and that all you do is come on vlogs and whine about Levy? So, the Yorkshireman, wherever you are, let me give you a very...
Maybe Yorkshire,
probably. Yeah, obviously. Yorkshire. So, I've supported Tottenham. I'm 42 now. For about 37 years, I've supported Spurs, pre-Levy. When I then started supporting Spurs, I'm the kind of fan that doesn't leave when the going gets tough. Supporting a club means you support the badge and everything that goes with them. I haven't said that I don't watch them, because that would be absolute nonsense, because I'm on a lot of Tottenham channels. At the moment, things at Tottenham are shit. We are not round a campfire singing Kumbaya, but toasting marshmallows and going, oh, what a wonderful time it is. At the moment, the sea is rough. So I will complain when it's rough. Don't get me wrong. When Pochettino was in, everything, I still leave me out, but I have my say. When things are good, I will say they're good. But also, for being a lifelong fan for 37 years, when things are rough, I will say how they are. And for 20 years, for 14, I've been banging on to this Levy out this Levy out thing before everyone else started jumping on. I'm one of the original people that have been Levy out for the longest. I've been seeing this shit for 20 years. 14 years I have been barking on about it, and now we're at a point where change could happen. So when everyone is when we're on a pod, and the question is, where do you think the club is going? I'm not going to sing Kumbaya. I'm not going to roast a marshmallow. And when the transfers don't come in and when the managers aren't good, it all starts at one point, which is the toxic cancer that is at the top of the page, top of the ladder. So if I need to keep barking on about how pathetic, how much of a liar, how much of a two-faced fucking parasite he is, I will do so. That's what I've got to say.
Kumbaya, my lord.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
Mr. Cody Mack.
Cody on the big screen.
Mr. Cody Mack.
Can we?
Sing Kumbaya after every one of Daigle's rants. So that just should be a thing. As soon as everybody sings Kumbaya,
I was looking for a lighter.
Mr. Cody, you've been awful quiet up there in the corner, man.
Well, somebody's got to let this fucking panel breathe a little bit, you know.
people want to know what Mr. Cody Mack has to say.
Yeah, I think everybody's making valid points. It's about
That's
expectations.
AKA for I haven't been listening.
Everybody wants Tottenham to finally make the jump to the upper tier of the Premier League and of world football, and we have been teetering on the precipice of that for the better part of a decade. And it seems like every time that we are on the cusp of achieving something great, there is something that happens that holds us back from being able to do it, whether it is the appointment of a bad manager or a blunder in the transfer market or missing out on Champions League football by the skin of our teeth or the building of the new stadium or a pandemic. It's just people are fed up now, but we love the club, you know, like every one of us in this panel love the club. It's just a matter of trying to explain ourselves about how we feel about the club at this particular moment. And the reality is Nuno is not an inspiring appointment. Nobody's going to look at Nuno Espirito Santo as a man who's going to take us into the upper echelon where we so desperately want to be. But I will say that of all the managerial appointments, or that the options that we had for this manager, Nuno is not the worst one. And one of the aspects of his appointment that gives me hope, it's a bad word to use, but it does give me a little bit of hope, is that I don't think that Nuno was on Daniel Levy's list before Fabio Paratici came into the picture. I don't think that Daniel Levy would have looked twice at this guy because of his reputation as being a defensive manager, which I know, Will, you've expressed your thoughts on that and everything, but that is the general like stigma surrounding Nuno Espirito Santo from the Nuno out crowd or the no to Nuno crowd, is that he doesn't play attacking front foot football, and that might be a misnomer. We don't know for sure. It just depends what he's going to do with the tools that he's given at Tottenham. But for me, the fact that we've brought in a Paratici man is a step in the right direction. And I just hope that we continue on that path where control is taken away from Daniel Levy and put in the hands of Fabio Paratici.
I don't agree with you. And then right as you finished your sentence, it hit the 45-minute mark, which means it is halftime. So for people who haven't yet, hit the like on this video.
Smash that like.
Smash the like on the video. Subscribe not only to this channel, not just this channel, but go into the description and click and subscribe to all 5 channels that are listed there. Wright TV, BobSpur TV, especially BobSpur TV, to Tottenham Away, especially to Mr. Johnny Einstein over at Shelfside Spurs.
He's all right.
Leave him lonely.
We need to get him. We need to get him to 500
He
subs.
needs to show
like
up. He needs
yesterday.
to show up for work, for fuck's sakes.
Yes. But also to this channel here, we greatly appreciate it. Myself and Tottenham Away are on the push to 2K, so if everybody could go over and smash that subscribe button, that would be great. No, Cody, you were fine. You circled for a little bit, but you're good. But anyway, for me, as far as the defensive thing, especially for the coaches on the panel, Mr. Shy, Mr. Stell, do you think I don't see how Mr. Nuno is defensive? Pragmatic, maybe, meaning that he is both offensive and defensive, depending on the situation, but definitely not defensive. Do you agree or do you disagree with the sentiment that is going on in the Twitter sphere with those who may not know better?
Still, you want to go or shall I?
I think he's an attacking manager that played good football because he had very good players that were brought in by a very good agent. But as soon as he went to a back four, because he had to switch it up due to injuries, it became a disaster for him, and they were very pragmatic and defensive. But I think the system that he likes to play. Saying that though, do you know in Valencia he didn't play with a back three. He played a different system. In Valencia.
Very forward thinking at Valencia,
and they were quite advancing. So I think actually, look, coach's hat on. I think he's actually a very good coach in the sense that he can adapt his system and style depending on where he's at and what he's trying to do. So he's not this rigid manager. Like he doesn't just play Wenger ball or pragmatic Jose ball or possession-based football like Pep. I think he can mix it up. But like any manager that will be at Tottenham, you need the players to do it. And when the injuries happen and the shit hits the fan, what do you do then? When the shits hit the fan at Wolves, Nuno collapsed. Absolutely collapsed. So that's my fear with him as a coach. But in terms of his ability to play the football we want to see and get results, I think he's a good coach. I don't knock Nuno for that.
Good deal. Before we go on to Shy, hold on one second, Bob. Before we go over to Shy, and then we'll go to Bomb. We got Spandan Samaran here with $2 saying Nuno, this mid-tier option, and Papa Mendes. Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Good joke.
And for other people too, if you want to interrupt the conversation, you can do so with a super chat, or if you just want to call Stell names, you can do that in a super chat as well. I will read those out live on stream.
Bring it.
If it has curse words in it, it needs to be over $5. So,
wait, Will, don't I get a share of that then? Because I'm technically generating the revenue.
I'll throw you a little bit of it. I'll send you a check.
Give him half.
30%.
That's brilliant.
But Mr. Shy, what are your, before we go into to our opinions as non-coaches on your guys' coaches' opinions, what are your opinions on Nuno's style? There's a tenor right there. He's ready to go.
Well, like we've heard already, I mean, he seems to adapt his systems to the club that he's at. So at Villarreal, he was far more attacking, scored a lot of goals in the 70s margin, I believe. And
was it Valencia or Villarreal? I think it was Valencia.
Valencia. Yeah. So in terms of being there, his system was completely different. He played a 4-3-3, I believe, or could play a 4-2-3-1. And then when he came to Wolves, again, they were in 15th position. He got them promoted. He came 2 7th-place finishes. He got a Europa quarter-final, I believe. So you know the guy's no mug at the end of the day. He's a decent coach, and I think Paratici, if everything is to be believed, he managed to convince Levy that this guy can play attacking football for our club because he can adapt the system. Okay, so it's not one of these where it's, you know, with Mourinho it could be one way, or with Poch it could be another. This guy seems to be able to adapt his systems accordingly. Like with Wolves last year, obviously, like Stel's already alluded to, they play with their 5 at the back, but then had to move to 4 regarding their injuries, and it didn't quite work out. Then he reverted back to the 5, I believe. But injuries played a big part for them last season. But I do believe that this guy has got the tactical nous to adapt his systems, and hopefully that will bode well with what Stel said as well about getting the right players to fit the kind of systems that he's going to want to play. So in terms of, is that Paratici buying players that are going to suit the club, or will it be, you know, players that we see on a bargain in the pound shop and go, oh yeah, he's cheap, we'll take him, he looks all right. You know, the transfer strategy has to be spot on. It needs to be spot on to make this work.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And Bob, what did you want to respond, or did you forget?
No. First of all, piss off, Stel. Some would say Poch crumbled when we had injuries. When we lost Kane and Sonny and everyone else, and that was pretty similar to how many injuries Wolves had. Yeah. So some would say that Poch crumbled when we went out the FA Cup against Palace, wasn't it? Lost a few league games, Chelsea as
But
well.
Bob, sorry, we went away to Man City in the Champions League with no Harry Kane. Danny Rose was injured, and we had a defensive midfielder of Wanyama half injured. I think Poch was a bit better.
Yeah. But you know, you can always look at Wolves pulling off a good result regardless of the injuries as well. I just think we're not in a position to judge, are we, Nuno? We don't. We can judge him on how he's done at Wolves. You know, a lot of people were judging Poch on how he did at Southampton, and people weren't happy with him. He finished seventh with Southampton, and if anyone, probably had a bit of a worse squad than what Wolves had. So there's that argument. I just think it's just unfair to judge him right now because he's not even had even had a day yet. So, but you know, there's no shying away. I'll back him, but if he fucks up the way Jose did. I'll call him out. By the way, Spandan, Jose failed. That's a personal thing. But yeah, no, it's just unfair to judge him right now because we don't know what he's going to do at Tottenham. We don't know what his mindset is. We don't know what formation he's going to play. We'll wait and see. If he has a bad start, then of course questions will be asked. But I think the fan base will be aiming their hate towards or dislike them towards Levy more than Nuno. But it's a wait and see for me.
Yeah, I'd have to say to agree. I think we have to recognize as well that the Wolves squad isn't as deep as most of the topper echelon Premier League squads. And when he loses his only striker, and he has a 18-year-old come in who is supposed to be eventually good to fill in for him, and who I don't even think he'd scored a goal for the club at that point to fill in. I think, and then obviously had some other injuries.
Who does that remind you of, Brian?
Well, I mean, Sonny's not an 18-year-old that could come in and play striker, or Lucas Moura isn't an 18-year-old that could come in and play striker. We had people in that position, or players in that position, that could fill in for Harry Kane. I'm not saying they were as good, but they certainly had goals in their game. This kid did not. He lost a lot of what his team was about, and when you lose that focal point, you're not going to win games. And I think that was obvious. He did really well when he came in. Two seventh place finishes for Wolves. Coming in from the Championship, he had some really good players in the first 11, and they didn't really get a ton of injuries. They played pretty good football. They beat Spurs twice in the first season comfortably, made us look pretty shit under Pochettino. So, I think we got to give him a chance. I think what Bobby said is the main thing is that, and this is what about backing the manager is about. Let's give him a chance. Let's see what he does, and give him an opportunity to show us that he is capable of taking on this job.
But I don't know like that. But I don't think people don't even realize that Wolves in that season when they got promoted had the fourth highest points total in the last 20 years in the Championship. Yeah. So it's not like they just got promoted.
Smashed the Championship.
They smashed the Championship, and it was a 10th place mid-table side before that.
Yeah. And they did get investment in the Championship side that you normally don't get to at that level, right? To bring in Neves, I think, who came in and he was, I think Barcelona were in for Neves at one point, and there was other teams that were looking at him. So you're looking at a player there that he knew was. So he went in because he knew that he trusted that manager. So my understanding of the players' position on him as well is they really like him. Players like playing for him. He is, well liked by most managers or most players who played for him. So I think we have to take that into account. Getting the squad back together and unified was the thing that Pochettino did really well. I think he has an opportunity to do that. I think he has a personality to do that as well, based on what we know about him. So I give him a chance, see what happens. And like Bobby said, let's call him out when he makes errors. But like you said, he's only been there for a day.
Sure.
Question: do you think he'll be able to keep Harry Kane at Spurs?
No.
I think Levy will be able to keep Harry Kane. I don't think we'll be up to Nuno.
I don't think Nuno's got much of a chance of. I don't think it's his. I say it's not his job to do that. I think Nuno. He won't have much to say. I think it will all come down between Levy and Kane themselves.
Yep.
I don't think Nuno's going to have much to say. But just to add to what Brian's saying, I worked with a Wolves fan, a season ticket holder, and they absolutely loved. They loved Nuno. They loved what he did in the place. He had the fans on board. He connected with the fans really well with the team. He had that spine with Cody and Neves. And,
he had a lot of players better too. Iggy.
Jimenez, he really relied heavily on that spine. And really, it's only in his last season at Wolves where he lost Jimenez. That was a massive, massive blow. And they also, to be honest, in that last season, they didn't really reinforce the squad that much.
Well, losing Jota, Doherty, and then losing your best
they were
player.
losing players. Yeah, they were losing players every season pretty much.
Yeah.
But they weren't replaying that last season. I think their squad was really thin. They didn't really replace or added. So in case of injuries, they would have had problems, and that's what happened to them in that last season. But in regarding to get the team playing really good, attractive football, at least the first two, the beginning part of it when he was there, he got them playing really good football, attractive football, and he had the fans. I mean, it was really hard to go to the Molineux, if you remember, guys. A lot of teams struggled to go there when they got promoted. So on that aspect of thing, he is. Listen, like I said, I'll say it again. For me, he was the best of. What was left. I have to say that. I'm hoping that he will get a tune. I mean, it is a big hope, getting a tune out of these lot. And really, and going back to what Stel said at the beginning, it's massive that we do very important and very accurate marketing. And when I say my marketing, transfer market, we have to get that spot on. I'm not saying we're going to resolve everything in this transfer market, because the time is very restricted. We're starting pre-season very soon.
It needs to start well, though.
But yeah, he needs to get the first three inklings need to get bang on, and the Harry Kane situation, whatever it may be, has to be resolved, has to be tackled straight away. But that is also the work of the club. It's not really much Nuno can do.
Paratici will be a big part of that, right?
Yeah, he's got his work cut out. So it's going to be interesting I reckon 2 weeks is going to be massive in regards to that.
You know what it is, well, you got to remember what you said as well about Jimenez is totally right. But I think what you've also got to take into note is, yes, they lost Jimenez, but I don't think they realised obviously they're going to lose Jimenez. They also lost Jota, which was huge.
Yeah, that's what I just mentioned.
Which was huge to them. So they lost Jota, and obviously didn't think the unfortunate incident that happened with Jimenez was going to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't really replace Jota. They bought in an 18-year-old for ridiculous money who they didn't think was going to come in right now. They thought, come here, develop, and then we'll be ready to go. They're buying the talent. And then obviously Jimenez happened. So they lost. And obviously you got to remember as well, and this comes back to Spurs as well, is whether you like him or not, they got rid of Doherty. And Doherty, don't get me wrong, right now is probably the happiest man in North London. Is probably the happiest man in North London right now. Yeah. And we can't knock.
Why is he happy?
Because Nuno's come here. They wanted to go to a back four. I don't think that was...
Who got rid of Doherty?
I don't think it was all down to Nuno, but he wanted to play a back four. But he wanted to play a back four, and it didn't work. And now he can be playing the back four. Still, you got to look at it. He didn't get... Players, they were looking at it. He had 1 year left on his contract. They don't think they were going to renew it as a club, so they decided to sell him.
And the player wanted to go as well.
It wasn't your shit. We're getting rid of you. You don't say that to the player who was the second best right back in the country for the last 2 years, who had the second most goals and assists. Say again.
1 good season. He had 1 good season.
Yeah, 2 good seasons still. 2 seasons in a row. Two seasons in a row in the Premier League records. 2 seasons in a row, he was the second right back for goals and assists, only to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Unless you're telling me Trent Alexander-Arnold is the only good right back in the Premier League or right wing back, then. He had a bad season at Tottenham. There is absolutely no denying it. Wolves went with a back four. If Nuno goes to a back five, he's got a player that knows can
system.
Score him goals, create assists, and do exactly what he is good at. I'm not saying it's going to work, and he is going to be good.
For me as well, in addition to that, you're right.
I think Nuno allowed him to go.
You're just making that up.
If you think that's still, then it must be.
Yeah,
if you think that, it must be.
No,
listen, at the end of the day,
it must be right. Don't make it sound like that, because that's not what I'm saying. It's just my opinion.
No, but listen, the move for the player. If I'm looking at it as a player at that time, from Tottenham coming in for him, it was a better move for him. You have to say that
he wanted
it was a better move. What didn't work out as much for Tottenham is that we play a back four. At that time, we were playing a back four, then a 3, and he was a wing back. The responsibility of being a defender increased, which is why he failed, because he's not as good defensively. But in addition to that, to the Wolves, I think that the change of tactics that they did in the last season killed Neves, which was massive for them. His input in goals ratio completely
Went way
dipped.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, he's the player that I think we need in our team.
Love to get Neves into Spurs. It'd be
I would love to get Neves in there, and I'm hoping, I'm really crossing that we actually go and get him, because that guy is a brilliant player. Young still, but if you put him in the right areas, he could be really good for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, too, I just want, Shy, I'll jump to you real quick, but I just wanted to make one point clear that on the Jota thing and how big this is that he was in the top, especially when they were in the championship, he was their top goal scorer, and in that season under Nuno, and then was in the top 3 every year until he left for Liverpool. So he was a major player for them.
Massive loss.
I mean, made up. It would be like us losing Son, right? Yeah. And then replacing him with,
nobody, essentially, because they didn't replace him.
Giovanni Lo Celso. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a huge bump. But Shy, what did you have?
Yeah, no, it's interesting about Doherty, going back to Doherty. So if Nuno comes back and he wants to get the best out of Doherty, then surely he's got to play him in the same position he did at Wolves, and playing him as this attacking wing back with three centre halves. Yeah, but this possible acquisition of is it Tomiyasu? Is it Tomiyasu? Is the guy's name? Yeah, Tomiyasu. So listing, I don't know if any of you have seen Ali Gold's video tonight, but
half of it.
Interesting. So this guy they're hoping to bring in can play at centre back and play at right back. But apparently, what Ali Gold was saying, if you believe what he's saying, is that they want to play him similar to. You remember how they were saying if Ben Davies played in at left, then you push up. You push up Aurier further up the pitch, and you bring Ben Davies in as a 3. They're thinking of doing the same with this Japanese boy because he's fairly defensive. Kind of disciplined in that position where he can fill in, and then Reguilon's going to fly up the left-hand side, and you're going to bring them 3 in from that side. So it's going to be very interesting to see. It'd be very interesting to see what happens with Doherty if they're going to bring this Japanese boy in.
Yeah, system will depend on it as well. What he was going to play and how he wants to set up the back line.
Exactly,
Mr. BobSpur.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope we don't play a pragmatic right wing back because I think with 3 at the back that allows us to have that. The only width we're going to get with 3 at the back are the fullbacks or the wing backs, and that's why I'm a big advocate to see how Bergwijn gets in that position, especially in right wing back, because I believe he can do a job there. We don't need 2 in the pivot if we play 3 at the back. So I think if we bring Neves in, what does that say about Højbjerg? But it'd be an excellent backup. I think Ndombele can have a freer role in midfield, certainly play further upfield because I think that's where he is at his best. So Iggy's right. We need someone in that midfield role, ideally a box-to-box kind of player. And it's a shame Ali's kind of gone off the scale because this is tailor-made for Ali. Tailor-made for Ali in that midfield alongside Højbjerg and Ndombele. And if we had Ali from a few years ago with his head right and his playing style right, mate, a midfield of Højbjerg and Dembele and Ali would be awesome. Unfortunately,
what about Oli Skip?
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself.
He'd be good. He's not proven in the Premier League. That's the only thing. Maybe we need to bring a
bit of a risk, but question what we did last season, right? And he's one of our own too. So,
question that just hit my brain here.
Go on, mate.
What are your guys' thoughts of Dele playing on the right side of the front 3 in a 3-4-3?
He's done it before.
I don't like it.
He's not very good at it, though.
Not for me.
Not very good. Not very convincing.
Not for me either.
Has he done it before?
He did it on the left, from the left side, not from the right, but in a
left or the middle, up front. He frequents those 3 zones quite well.
Yeah,
and he's played there. He's got lots of years of experience on working on that side, getting really good at it. So I don't see him switching to the right anytime soon.
You look at it.
I hope we sell him.
You look at it. What you got to look at as well is if you play about 5, surely you're going to get the best out of Reguilon. Yeah, because after how he finished, I mean,
winger over there on the.
He started last season on fire, and we all thought, "Oh my God, look what we've got on our look what we've got on our hands here." And then obviously since Christmas, whether it be injuries, what happened at Christmas with Lamella and Lo Celso, or confidence or anything. He was abysmal. There is no getting away from how abysmal he was for the final few weeks of the season.
He was poor, very poor.
And
defensively, offensively, he still showed promise.
Yeah, but he did. But his defensive, his attacking when he first came, every cross that went in was at least hitting the man. I mean, the goal that he set up against Southampton showed exactly what he is capable of when he's attacking. And I think whether you get the best out of Doherty and you play him at right wing back or Bergwijn or whoever, I think you got to try and play your team to its strengths, and a back five would unleash Reguilon and would make us a million times better already, just playing him in that position.
The thing is, we've seen Bergwijn play on the right hand side, and we've seen him play quite defensively on the right hand side as well. We can't afford to move Son out of that position on the left. There's no point putting Son on the right in any way.
Yeah,
you know, you got the best person to be on the left. Why change him? Leave him there. Bergwijn, my suggestion to go on the right.
You could even play with two up front, even if you have a back three or back five. You can play with two up front and have Son closer to Kane.
But
I always believe that Kane should have someone. I've said this even for the England situation. I've said that it would take the pressure off Kane if you had someone a little bit closer to him, someone with those characteristics. In the same way, Sterling or Son, who are very quick and agile players, I think working in
That's
and around
what Delhi
Kane.
used to do with him, Iggy. But when Delhi was good, they playing close to him, playing off.
For me, Delhi's head is gone. For me,
I agree. I'm not saying it should be Delhi. I'm just saying that it was as an example.
I think the opportunity, if there is an opportunity to cash in on Delhi, I would say cash in on him and use that money to finance on a player, like in my opinion, Neves or somebody similar. That to finance a player that's more functional to Nuno.
3-5-2 to me. 3-5-2 to me seems a little bit more defensive, unless you're only going to have one holding.
3-4-1-2. You can play at number 10 behind two strikers. That's also, and then we got the players as well of that can play in that role. But what I'm trying to say is, for me, we should have someone a bit again on the assumption that Kane stays and Son stays. I'm talking about the players. They're there at the moment. And for me, that's it. But you know, it's going to be a massive summer because if like I said, we're talking like Kane is staying at the moment. So it depends how he comes back from this England
I think he's
tournament.
going to be here. I don't think he's going to live. He's going to let him go. But Goguma, thank you very much for the super sticker. We appreciate that. And if you guys just want to donate cash to the channel, super sticker is a great way to do it. If you don't want to put in a comment,
guys, in regards to a 3-5-2, I think a 3-5-2 can be very offensive, and if applied correctly. And we've seen
you have one holding mid, you
have one holding mid, and then you those wing backs have to provide balls in for the offense. We saw when Pochettino did it, and it worked really well with Walker and Rose on either side, bombing up front, very offensive. So it just comes down to the philosophy of how you're going to set up in that scenario. How are we going to use those wing backs? How far forward are you going to let them go? And do you have that destroyer in front of those three to sort of make it a 4, which is what Dyer did sometimes, or Wanyama did sometimes. It would pull into that space, and you'd end up still having 4 at the back because they would be there. So you need a player, whether it's Skip or Højbjerg in that position, but you can still get really far forward and be very offensive in a 3, 4, 5 at the back, or however you want to say it, depending on the position on the pitch you're on. But it's a useful setup if you got the right players for it.
Mr. Bob.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back to the game against Man City, you know, I know 5-3-2 or 3-5.
Yeah,
the way you want to look at it.
6, 10, 5, 7.
We've generally, if you remember against Man City, we had the fullbacks running forward in Aurier and Reguilon. The areas we could do that is because Højbjerg and Sissoko always stayed back. So we always had 4 people at the back. If we played the 3 at the back and we only had 1 midfielder, 1 in the pivot, that'd still be the same number of people staying back and giving us that defensive.
If you let those wing backs get forward,
if those wing backs go forward, exactly. So it is it's kind of the same number. Well, it's definitely the same number of people who would stay back, as long as he doesn't play 3 at the back and 2 pivots. That's, I think, would be very defensive.
And that midfielder in front of the 3 has to be defensive minded. They have to think, we have to stay in this position. I can't get too far forward, because if you do, that's when you end up losing.
But we say Højbjerg, don't we? We've seen what he does for Denmark going forward. We'll possibly need another DM.
Well, Skip could play that position potentially, but
Sorry, Chai, can I?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Guys,
raise your hand, Mr. I can see you.
I've been touching my head. Daily style.
Raise your hand. I'm not. You're not Dele Ali, Mr. K.
No, but it's race now. It's to head, no?
No,
I'm trying to take up these new trends that young people are coming out with.
I'm not young, Mr. K.
Talking about new trends. 3,
I'm
4,
old
3.
and dumb.
This very flexible, very flexible system. It was basically designed like it takes the pressure off you when someone tries to press you. And in the Premier League, they're all trying to press you now. Everyone now has raised the bar. If you go all the way down to the 18th team in the Premier League, they will be at you. They'll try something on you, and they'll try to win the game. Okay, so you've got to be able to, right now, the way Tottenham has been playing in the past, every time they get pressurized in the back, they don't know when it's past the ball left or right. So with the 3-4-3, it gets the ball out easier. But if you play 3 at the top and you play with 2 inside forwards, then they can hang out while the wider players, the wing backs, can invert inwards. Right? If you look at Sessignon, he'll come in and then he'll cut in towards the top of the defense. If he does that, then the guy who's playing the inside forward needs to remain out until because the back run is not going to happen. There's no Davis there. Okay? So that's the only way they can play that type of method. The inside forwards, the inside inverted, like Sessignon, he likes to invert as well. He likes to come in and then cut straight across the front. So players like that suit the 3-4-3 quite well. Now it's all down to who you're playing against, whether or not you have those 3 there, or whether you have 2 up front and you stick 1 in the midfield to strengthen things out. Say, for example, you're playing against Man City, right? So I think this is going to be exciting experiment. If Nuno gets it right and he trains the players well, we might get some good results in the first 6 games. I predict about 11 points. Lose 1, draw 2, win 3 with this system.
And Goguma saying, listen, this is making her excited for the upcoming season, imagining all the formation talk we're talking about. And then Shy, you wanted to roll in after Mr. K? I think you've been going.
Yeah, just a couple of points. I mean, I think, Bobby, you just mentioned about getting another DM in. Yeah. I think Sissoko's out the door. So
Yeah,
I
hopefully.
think, I think
you can pray.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, mate. Apologies. But I think if Sissoko goes, we'd definitely be looking at another one to get in, without a doubt.
What about Kip? Why do we need another one?
Huh?
Why do we need another one?
Well, I definitely. Well, if he goes, I think he'll be replaced, and I think Winks, if Winks goes as well, which is hopefully will be tattered as well, we'll definitely need another one in there. I think. I mean, a Basuma or something.
Squad, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, if we're going to challenge on fronts, we need a quality of squad. But the second point I wanted to bring up is Nuno has got a huge job in getting the best out of Ndombele and the Chelsea this season.
Massive.
Okay. That they are 2 high-profile signings that clearly haven't hit the heights that we've all expected them to. We know they've got talent. We know they're talented guys, but we haven't had the best out of either of them yet. Whether that be lack of pre-seasons, injuries, whatever you want to call it, but I think Nuno has a job of getting the best out of them 2 this season, because
for some reason they can't play together either, Shy. Which is
exactly. It's true. And how incredible is that, Brian?
Because it's mind-boggling. Every time we wished for it, we'd watch it.
Exactly. You've got 2 players there of pretty good quality who can't play together, which is
very strange.
I find that Gerrard and Lampard.
Good. Yeah, but you know what? Quality players always find a way of playing together. Yeah. They always find a way, and I don't understand.
Maybe they needed more time. It only happened 3 times, I think, last season. It wasn't a lot, so maybe it was just a matter of the training them together, or get used to each other a little bit more, or whatever. Mourinho wasn't doing what he needed to.
To touch on what we said about Gerrard and sorry, Charles, the Gerrard Lampard didn't work because they were playing in a rigid 4-4-2. And that meant Scholes or somebody had to go out wide. It was ridiculous for his friend to do something like that. But that's another conversation. It's coming. It's gone now. So,
it's okay. It's fine. So, Will, I'll ask you, Will. What do you think in the systems we've just talked about, the 3-4-3, 3-5-2 systems? Where would you see Ndombele and Lo Celso fitting in this side?
Regarding that comment, there's a comment from Aaron, mate, just before the super chat. Goguma from Aaron. Wicked. Really good, and it's kind of what you're going to be answering as well.
Oh, everyone talking about fixed formation just to be able to change depending on who you play. Yeah, but that's because this is where this holds, right? So, I would see them in, depending on who you're playing against, right? If you're playing against a top 6 side that's really strong, who plays on the front foot, you would play a Højbjerg and a Skip, or a more defensive pairing in that middle 2 in a 3-4-3. If you're playing for somebody who can hurt you on the attack, but maybe isn't as dangerous as some of those top sides, you would pair Ndombele in alongside, Ndombele or Lo Celso inside along Højbjerg. And if you're playing sides like Sheffield United last season, for example, if there's a side that's like that this season coming up from the Championship, then you would drop Højbjerg, give him a rest, and play Ndombele and Lo Celso together in that double pivot, right?
So you couldn't see either them both playing together against big sides. You can't see fitting them both in. You don't.
No, I don't think they're defensively sound enough. Unless we were to get like a super center back pairing, or say like Tamiyasu, we end up against Skriniar, and then the Japanese lad is it just turns out to be absolutely phenomenal, and we can trust both of them to hold that back line on their own. Then maybe yes, but my reluctance in doing that now, unless we're playing a bottom tier side who we don't have to worry about, is the cover at the back, right? Because that's where we're.
Oh, by the way, it's, that Japanese boy, he's both footed actually, which is always something. Yeah, that is a good quality to have, to be able to play off both feet, which is awesome.
And before we do that, just want to remind folks that you can subscribe to this channel, and make sure you go up and subscribe to BobSpur TV, because BobSpur is going to be over there. We're going to be having this show next week on his channel.
Hey.
That's where this show will be hosted next week.
Sorry, guys.
And I don't know why you're sorry, but make sure you go to the description and you subscribe to all 5 channels that are listed there. That is a must if you want to continue to follow the show as it travels across the family. It'll be doing a circle again. So then after Bob, it'll be back at Henry Wright, and back at Tottenham Away, and back here. So make sure you go ahead and do that. But we are coming up. We're not quite at the full 90 minutes yet of the first part of the show, but I do have a question for the panel, and that is, I mean, the invincible.
Does that mean I look like him, or is that I was trying to figure that out?
I don't know.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
But the question that I have for the panel is, okay, what positions do you think are essential if we're going to end up playing in a 3 at the back, 3-4-3, 3-5-2 position? Where do you find us the weak? And one, even if we end up playing 4 at the back, do you see the fact that we're most likely losing Gareth Bale, that a right wing is priority number 2 behind center backs?
What was the first part of that question, Will?
What positions do we really need to put somebody?
What do we need to address first?
Right. Yeah. In a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
And then secondly, if we play in a 4 in the back, is right wing still a priority number 2 position?
Yes.
I think wing's going out, and someone replacing him is more high priority than the wing, because we got a few players that can play on the right. We got Mora that can play on the right hand side. We got Bergwijn that can play on the right side.
There though. He gets lost. I think all of our players currently get lost in that position.
Yeah,
Bale was the only one who offered it.
We've got 2 players which are quality.
Yeah, but neither of them are good.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you think Winks is better though?
They're not good in that role.
Yeah, but what about Winks in his role though?
No, you can get rid of Winks and still bring in somebody on the right.
We can get rid of Winks and not replace him.
But you haven't got that much option though.
Well, you could say Skip. You could say Skip for Winks, couldn't you?
You could say Skip for Winks pretty easily, and I think Lamella's arguably out this summer, or at least we should be trying to push him out. So he's also from the right hand side. So we'll be losing him, Bale, and all we'd have left arguably would be Bergwijn in that position, and that's even him.
Lucas Moira
doesn't really go right.
Moira isn't very good on that
number
side.
10, isn't he?
Moira's better as a 10 every time.
Yeah,
every time we've seen him.
We need to lose him as well.
I'm a bit of
I agree.
I'm a bit of a Bergwijn lover. I do think there's a lot more to come from him.
He needs to play in his position though.
He needs to be mentally stronger, because I do think the stick he got after the Liverpool game kind of really affected him for the rest of the season. I was talking to Brian about that earlier. I do. I still believe in him. He's young. You know, there's obviously something
He's
about
got age
him.
on his side, hasn't he, Bobby? He's got age.
Yeah,
on
that's
his side.
it. He needs a settled side. He needs to settle position. Yeah, there's an argument he could be better from the left, but then we lose Sonny from there. I just think, just believe in Bergwijn. It might not be a regular start next season, but I just don't want to. We've still not seen the best of him. I still think there's a player in him, and I request everyone to have a bit of patience with him. But yes, we do need a right winger in, and that for me is Neto. Has to be Neto. He's going to cost a bit of money.
Doesn't he play more on the left, Bob? Neto.
Who's that? Neto. Yeah. But I think
for me, probably Traore would
be
more suitable. No, Traore maybe.
There's no end product, is there, mate?
Yeah, he just doesn't.
There's
doesn't
no
have any
end
finish.
product.
He had like
a lot of files.
3 months of good football, and then he was like.
But I think Sonny, Neto and Sonny could interchange. They would need to. But mate, I like Podence, but he's had a bit of an injury.
He looked real good.
I really like Podence.
Yeah, he looked really good for sure. Yeah. Didn't play a lot, but when he did play,
he gave us problems, didn't he? When he played against us,
absolutely.
Who it was.
Everyone does, Shy. Everyone does.
Yeah, true.
Everyone, but no, to tell the truth.
I'll be back in 2 minutes, guys.
To tell you, I'm like Bob with this. I've got a lot of faith in Bergwijn. I think there really is a player there. Obviously, he's had a tough year. But I still think there's a player there. For me, and I've said this for a while, and I highlighted it on the two Brians last week. For me, it's a case of getting. I'd be happy if we got more Deadwood out and only a couple in. If you told me we could get 3 Deadwood out but 1 in, I would take that right here,
Smaller
right
squad.
now, right here, right now. And I still say it, whether we can get them or not. I look at it. I've got it in my head that we're playing a back 5 or back 3, whatever way you want to say it.
I'm saying.
And I look at it. You've got Roden, who for me has to start now. I think he's. If you look at the defenders we have there now and the way he's performed at the Euros in a back 3, he's performed superbly. I want to see Tanganga with him as one of those defenders. So there you've got, because I believe full stop, he is a centre back. He's not a right wing back. He's not
right
a right
side
back.
of a 3. Right side of a 3.
Exactly. And then you need, and I'm going to say this, player, I've been saying it the whole time, is Skriniar. Whether we get him, I know Inter Milan want the money. If you look at what Rodon gives, what Tanganga can give us, as we've seen, and then you put our hard as nails, take no prisoners. I am the glue of this. You do what I say. That defense immediately to me it sounds amazing. And to me, if you told me right now we're going to get through, if we had the transfer genie came down and said, right, Brian, this transfer window, we're getting rid of 3 of the Deadwood. I don't know what 3, but 3 of them, and we're only bringing in Skriniar. Would you be happy? I would be over the goddamn moon. Mm-hmm. And for me, however many players we bring in isn't going to make a damn bit of difference whilst the Deadwood are still there, because all they're going to do is get their claws into them and just bring it down and down and down. It's all about getting the Deadwood out and then rebuilding. So that's my opinion on transfers.
Yeah, I think it's more important to clear it out. And he does like playing. Nuno likes playing with a smaller squad or managing a smaller squad because he can fit them into the positions that he needs. If we keep all these extra players and we're trying to figure out what to do with them, it just clouds everything. Not a good idea. I agree with Brian on that.
Don't you also need to have a certain amount of homegrown players in the squad now?
Yeah, of course. They've always had
as well. Yeah,
we have a ton of players out on loan that are homegrown. So I don't,
that's not a problem.
We can manage that situation. Yeah. I don't think it's the problem that was made out to be.
Can I ask Cody a question? Is that all right? Because Cody's been quiet. Cody,
I don't know.
Would you be disappointed if we didn't get rid of both Sanchez and Dyer this summer?
And Oreo.
Man, I'd be happy if we got rid of at least one. I just think
gotta be Dyer.
I'm with Brian. I'm all about bringing in a quality center back. I think that should be the very top of the list, and I don't think we should be doing any business until we sort that. That should be the number one priority. Yeah, I mean, who's going to buy these guys, though? The thing is, like, it depends what you believe in terms of the rumors that are going around, because, apparently Napoli were interested in Sissoko, and there was interest in Ben Davies, and the rumored valuations that we're asking for, like, I was laughing, thinking, is that in pesos for Sissoko? Like 30 million? Come on, like, I don't know. I have this dreadful feeling that we're not going to be able to move on more than like 2 players, just because of the combination of market conditions and the stubbornness of the hierarchy. But
it's the worst time to have to do a rebuild right now. It's the worst time.
We could say touch
it
a
is
bit
the worst time
to go.
It's
Do what?
It's the,
What was
it's
that,
the
Mr.
worst
Kane?
time to be
If
having
you want
to do a
to go.
rebuild, and it's the worst. It's the worst ownership to be in charge of doing it as well. So
Yep.
it really comes down to whether or not Paratici is going to be given license to do the clear out. But like we saw when Poch came in, you know, he moved on a lot of players, but he didn't get that right away. He was given that opportunity after the first season. So I have this sneaky feeling, this dreadful feeling that, you know, we're not going to move on Delhi. We're not going to move on Winks. I don't even know if we're going to be able to move on Serge Aurier, who I think is a real problem. Like Aurier and Sissoko, I would as far as players going out, Aurier and Sissoko are the top of my list, even ahead of Dyer and Sanchez.
Aurier as a right wing back would be amazing.
Sorry, what was that?
Well, yes, I mean on paper that's great, but I find him to be a distraction.
His attitude is the problem more than anything else.
When you have a player that literally leaves the stadium at halftime because he's throwing his toys out the pram, I just think that you can't have that. It can't be acceptable for a club like us.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have worn a shirt.
Will, can you back up your statement, mate? What you just said, please.
It was the fourth highest. Or outside of Kane, Son, and Bale, he was the second highest scorer on the team. Had the second highest assists on the team. His offensive stats are top of the league as far as right backs are concerned. Defensively, he's horrible. But if we're playing 3 at the back and he's not required to do so, I pushed for Aurier last season to play right winger instead of right back. I think his crosses in far better than Bergwijn could do. So unless you're going to go out and drop 40, 50 million on a right back, I don't think you can find somebody attacking wise who could replace him.
Where's the question? Where's the priority? Where's the priority, Doug, for you guys? Where is it?
Centre back.
Paratici, not priority.
Paratici.
Mr. K with the semantics.
No, he's making a pun.
Yes.
Priority,
Listen,
not
I'll tell you what,
priority. I got
me and Stel said this last year, didn't we, Stel? We said this last year. Dumfries. I would love to see Dumfries from Holland as our wing back for Spurs.
It's going to cost now. It's going to cost.
Now he will. We should have had him last season, the beginning of last season.
Are they stupid chips in France?
Yeah.
I don't mind replacing Aurier, but I don't think of it as a priority.
Pommes frites.
No.
If we get linked to a player, we don't buy him. It's too late.
I think you got it.
It's too late to buy a player once we miss the first year before buying him. You know what Levy's like?
No.
Every year it becomes harder and harder to buy the same player. Once you miss him, it's gone.
For me, is replacing 11 goals in the attacking right side of the pitch. How are we going to do that? That's after center back. Center back's priority number 1. 2 of them. One great one young great one.
Yeah.
Right? Another Rodin-like purchase plus a established center back like Skriniar or Milivojevic or something.
What about
like
Anderson? Do you think Anderson's good enough?
Maybe.
I think he's good enough. Shy, I think he's good enough. But I don't think, like I said, like a Skriniar, he's that domineering.
Yeah, he's not the leader. He's not. Well, I guess he is. He was captain though, Brian.
He's a leader, right? But he's not.
No, we can say that, but I don't. You know, Lloris is our captain, and I don't believe in goalkeepers. I want a captain like a hard as nails. Listen to what I've got damn saying, not like a captain. Exactly like a Højbjerg, as opposed to. And it's funny that you just said what you said, Will, about replacing. Now, I was on Tommy's channel this morning, and Bob came on shortly after. I'm not going to say the name of his channel because I'll probably get. Yeah, that's the one. You said it for. And there's a guy that left a question in there, which was an absolute bang-on statement. And it's like what you said. At the moment, we're losing 16 goals because of Bale. Potentially, we could be losing 20 odd goals because Kane ain't signed the contract. Son ain't signed his contract. So that takes you up to like 35, 40. Potentially, Kane's going. There is 70 goals that could be going. Or let's say Bale is gone because Ancelotti wants him.
He's already gone.
Unless something drastic happens in the build-up, he's not coming back. Son, who I said is signing the longest contract in the world. I even said, you know what? I don't need to buy a plane ticket home. If someone was just to roll out Son's contract, I could probably walk the Atlantic on it. And then you've got him potentially going, and then you could be potentially losing Kane. So you're potentially losing 70 to 80 goals plus assists, not even assists, this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But before we go any further in this, we've reached the 90-minute mark. So we're at 9 p.m. for 90 minutes, and we are in the extra time. So for folks in the chat, while we continue talking about what we're talking about now, if you have any specific questions, either throw it in a super chat and or add us at WillStewartTHFCRants, and we'll try to answer that. Try to pick one specific person in the panel to ask your question to, and we'll bring those up. But as far as if no questions come in, we'll just continue rattling on about nothing for the next 30 minutes. But this is your opportunity to ask a specific question. What type of underpants does BobSpur wear? The world wants to know, right?
Commando.
How many dartboards does Brian Daigle have in his house with Daniel Levy's picture on them, right? Those type of questions. Anything that you want to know, get it in there now.
One in every room.
Only one, Cody. You don't know me well.
Super chat will get priority.
No, one in every room.
But other questions will be read.
That's more accurate. Absolutely.
But so anybody have any other opinions on the priorities of what players need? So for me, I think two center backs, major priority, and right winger is priority over right back for me. But any other thoughts on?
I think if we go three at the back, we need like an organizer. Listen, I know we've been talking about screening and stuff like that, but I think we could end up with someone maybe like Cody from Wolves. He's played under Nuno and he's rated by Nuno. Could he be a possibility in there? What do you guys think?
Possibly.
Is he somebody that is lukewarm for you guys? I know you expect a big signing.
He had a great game against us, if you remember. He played extremely well.
I like him. I think he's solid. I think he could do a good job as a communicator. I don't think we don't have enough of that in the team. He's a leader. We don't have enough of those, particularly in the spine of the team. I don't think we have enough of that. So he probably wouldn't cost as much, say, Skriniar. Although, of course, if the choice is given, Skriniar would be the better.
What about
50 million euros is not that bad, but Mr. Ireland.
Well, Mings, I don't think he'll leave Villa though. Sorry, mate.
No. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up something that we haven't talked about at all, and that's a new goalkeeper. Lloris on his last year of his contract. We need to deal with that position immediately. It's desperate, actually. I think we don't have anybody remotely close to good enough in a second or a third at the moment. So if that was a position that I think that they need to start looking at immediately, would be goalkeeper. And Lloris is not going to sign another contract with us, and we probably need to move on anyway. I think it's time. So I think that's as important as a center half for me.
I'll tell you what, Brian, you just saying that, Brian, has just made me think. My respect for Nuno has just got up like 10 times because he's taken this job. No, not because that. He's taken this job and it's like, right, you're going to lose, like I just said, potentially 70 goals.
And your keeper.
You're going to lose. Your keeper's at the end of the contract. Oh, by the way, and all the fans hate the owner. You're not going to get a lot of money. Off you go. It's unbelievable.
It's a really difficult situation, that goalie situation.
That's what I said at the beginning of the show. I said I respect him because he's come and taken a massive job, given everything that we know.
Yep.
And Mr. Bob, Aaron wants to, or if you're willing to, if you're giving us a twerk.
Aaron, why do you think I ended up in hospital, mate?
Bob, he's paid for it, mate. You got to do it.
I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again.
$5 is a very low tip for a twerk. Here in the United States, at a strip club, it costs you at least a 20.
That's nice.
Asking for a lot there.
And then Footy Live has a question here. He says, do you think Nuno will achieve top 4 by the end of his contract? If you don't pick a particular person in the question, I will pick one. We don't have time to run around the whole panel. We've only got 30 minutes left in the show. Stelios.
What was the question?
Of all people.
It's on the
Do you
screen,
think Nuno will achieve
You should
top
have been
4
listening.
by the end of his contract?
No.
Mr. K, do you have more opinion on this question? You seem
Yeah,
you're
definitely,
grabbing your hat.
100%. We're going to smash it. This season, we're going to go over there, and by 1 point, we're going to miss out top 4. We're going to come 5th. Everyone's going to get behind him. Next season, we get top 4. We might even hit an FA Cup. Why not?
Mr.
I
K,
mean, Nuno knows how to win a cup.
I love your positivity, buddy. I do really do. It's nice. It's
4-1
refreshing.
against Man City, by the way.
It's
Man
refreshing.
City, we're coming for you. You're coming to us. We're going to thrash you 4-1. Watch.
Oh, you predict every game 4-1, Mr. K. Every game.
You'll get it
You'll
right,
get it right
one
at some
week.
point, right? I got it
Don't
right at
tell
some
people
point.
that. And they'll know my secret then.
Oh, somebody's offering you money, Cody. Is that
Yeah,
right?
he's cheap,
Yeah,
isn't
I
he?
know.
Cody's cheap.
Cody, you gotta
It's twerking.
Is there any goalkeepers in the Euros that have caught your eye? Anybody? Any goalkeepers that have caught you?
Pickford.
Yeah.
We've
I'll
lost
be honest
none
with
of
you.
the best
We've got
goalkeepers
one more year with
already.
Lloris left.
My
Not
gone
worried
way.
about that right now.
You know, everyone spoke about Mygon for ages. He's gone.
You're not worried about the goalkeeper situation, Will?
He's got one more year on his contract.
I know, but like you have to sort of deal
We'll
with
wrap
that
that next
situation
summer. Yeah.
before
Right
he
now,
goes.
we have so many people we have to buy. We have so many people on the team to replace.
Other priorities. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think of goalkeeper's a big one.
I'm
It's gonna
going.
get real messy if you don't deal with it now.
It's going to be expensive,
going with-
so it's not something you could do and get
Better to
two
do it
center
when
backs
you're not
and do
better to
something
do it when
else.
you're not desperate if you're worried about the money.
Exactly. I'm going with Brian Island with this one as well. I've been saying this as well on Tottenham Away. You got to look at it now. He's in the last year of his contract.
We can't afford
We're,
anyone.
we're in such a tight spot now with the goalkeeper. No doubt, goalkeeper is the strongest and most important position to make sure you get right for obvious reasons. And we've got ourselves like the Harry Kane position. We don't really have a backup keeper. Whether Hart stays or not, he's not the answer. Gazaniga has gone. You now got to look at it and say, do I look at it? Do I go and get a goalkeeper now of quality, letting them know that this year you may be a bit part and then next season you are there? Or do you wait till he goes for nothing? And not only are you dealing with Daniel Levy, but you're dealing with a club that do not have a goalkeeper and you're going to charge them more. It is a huge, huge mess.
We'd be
Stop changing my comments, damn it.
Completely screwed if we don't do it now.
I mean, what I would say, if Dean Henderson becomes available, I would sign him immediately and get it done immediately. You know he's been on the bench for a bit, and if you say to him, listen, you are going to be on the bench this year, but next year I can absolutely guarantee you are starting, I think he'd come. I think he would. If he isn't Man U's number one, I think he's the one to go for.
So Torre on the right wing.
Pickford's impressed me the most. I'll be honest with you.
He has done well here. He has done well in the
He's
Euros.
not going to leave Everton, though, is he?
No, he's not, mate. No.
No, and I don't like Pickford anyway.
Will doesn't like him. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, conversation's done.
Well, he would solve the right wing question.
Next.
He could go on the right wing, but then
Pickford
I'm
can't
replacing him for
play
Sissoko. If we get rid of Sissoko, we can put him in his place.
Troy in the midfield, a double pivot. It's a waste.
No,
of
on the right.
time.
On the right, boom, like a tank.
No.
The right
Charge.
what? He's a right winger though.
That's what I'm saying. On
Sissoko's
the
not
right.
a winger.
Replace him. Who's not a winger? Sissoko. Dude, he's a winger. He got
not a
converted to
winger.
central field.
He played
He's
on the
not a
right for
winger.
most of his career, mate. But that's
Did you
Most
know
of
what
his
was
career.
If he's
most.
a winger,
Like,
if
you
he's
know
a
the bit
winger,
that-
I'm a belly
all
dancer.
that-
he's not very
Mr.
good at
K.
it, but it's what he did.
Mr. K, that would just sum up Tottenham if we signed Traore, because we'd have a right wing back in Aurier who can't defend but can cross, and then we'd have a right winger in Traore that can't cross. So it'd be like, well, what?
Or
what
shoot,
is the po-
for that matter.
Yeah.
No. You can strap the two together.
Back to back, and they can run each direction.
One with the
you know,
legs
like-
big, and the other one is it long.
It's too much baby oil. You wouldn't stick.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Mr. Stell, you've got a comment. Mr. Stell, do you have a comment? You went like this.
Stell had a question. Stell had a question in the comments.
And he went like this.
Did he? Where?
I've been rubbing my hat. I've been waiting around.
Pretty much after
Like
that last question you brought up.
What, the beard one?
No, not that one, mate. Not that one. There was a sensible one. Pilch 58.
Yeah, that was it.
Pilch,
Yeah.
just after
We're
Wobbles.
still. You have to at me, lads. At Will Stewart THFCRants, right?
Good
or
question.
put like a siren or something, like an emoji with like alarms or something. I'm not gonna see it if you don't do that.
Depends
still,
how Nuno,
if Poch
depends
comes
how
available-
Nuno's doing. Depends how Nuno's doing. And depends how Poch is doing.
If he'd been sacked, he's not done well, was he, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Becomes available, not necessarily sacked, but I mean, he
Guys,
just.
I don't know if anyone's. I don't know if you guys are really seriously looking at this, like as if this is kind of really real. That the plan by Levy is to bring Poch back. You guys are just making all this crap up inside your head. I swear to God, you are. All this
No, Levy said
overthinking.
it.
No, but
He just said
people have
Sissoko
talked
plays
about
on the wing.
No, everyone's been talking about the fact that
Fucking hell. Crap in the head.
he's not coming back. He's not coming back. Trust me.
You
He's
should
not
never.
coming
You
back
should.
when Levy's there.
You should never sign. I don't think this is the case, but you should never sign a manager as a stopgap in the hope that Pochettino leaves. And that doesn't.
That's not happening. Not happening.
Aaron says he's never seen Sissoko whipping across. If Sissoko were to whip into across, your striker would have to be Michael Jordan, because he'd have to be flying at like 30 feet above the goal in order to hit it.
He needs to be coming in at the far corner post.
Yeah.
On a trampoline.
Is that a question or what?
I think he's giving you the finger, it looks like.
Yeah, looks like
Hey, no need, no need,
It
no
was
need.
unnecessary,
no
mate.
need.
It was
Be-
unnecessary.
Be nice, Aaron.
Chris,
Come
you got a
on.
good
Come
point.
on,
Just
Aaron.
after that.
Aaron's
just
a
after
regular.
that,
He's just being.
He's having a laugh. You can see his LOL there.
just after that. Chris has got a good point.
Yeah, Daniel Levy's our friend. We also have Joe Lewis comes on the show sometimes, Kirst, as well as Steve Hitchin.
Hi,
But
Kirst.
Joe Lewis and Steve Hitchin haven't been around for a while. And then Daniel.
Are we
going
going to get a Paratici? Is what I wonder. We need a new replacement for Hitchin.
Daniel, do we need a Paratici? I can't. I think that's all the same person, but I don't think it is. I think it can be. I think it's multiple guys, to be frank. And then we have the other meme accounts as well. Those are always fun too. Any more questions other than that? I'm going to ask one. I do have another question for the panel. If no one else in the audience has a question that they can think of right now. For, let's see, Mr. Cody Mack. Do you see Daniel Levy spending any money at all this transfer window?
That's a good one. I like that.
Do we sign anyone?
I think
That's a good one.
I think we will have to sign someone. Yeah, for sure. I think we will. I mean, think about it. Last summer, we were kind of getting fed the same tune coming into the transfer window, that in order to purchase players, we were going to have to sell players, and we ended up spending $65 million, and we were falling all over ourselves because we've been feeding off of scraps for so many years now. Of course, $65 million was 7 different players, and it didn't really work out except for maybe Højbjerg, definitely Højbjerg. But I don't think that Levy can bring in Fabio Paratici, bring in Nuno Espirito Santo, and then not back him in any way whatsoever, regardless of whether we are able to move on any of the players that we need to. So I think, yeah, absolutely, he will have to spend something. Now, how much? I'm not sure. I think if I was a betting man, I would say a center back under 25 million pounds. If I was being hopeful, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of what we spent last season, 65 million.
Very good. And are you bald, Cody?
I am bald, yes. Bald and bearded Tottenham boy. Nuno Espirito Baldo.
I've got a question.
So Shy's the only non-bald one here. Brian's
Hey,
really
I'm not bald. I'm not bald. Yeah,
But he does shave his
I just
head.
shaved my head. It's hot as fuck right
And
now.
Brian Daigle's not really bald. He's
That's going to
balding.
change. I start my job on Monday, so I'm going to go clean shaven, clean
Hey.
bearded, everything. So
Congratulations.
thank you, sir. So Monday I will be balded. I will be bald, and not bearded.
And we do have the Bald and Bearded Tottenham Boy show on this channel on Tuesdays. And I might even be coming out with one that's an extra one at a different time called The Bald and the Beautiful. And
Yeah, I can't make it. I'll make it.
Oh, you invited me.
Can't make it.
but we'll see.
I got a question.
Bob, ask a question, man.
Do you guys start with Grealish on Saturday?
England, yeah? England talk.
Sure, of course. You'd be an idiot not to. That's why Southgate.
I would continue doing what's working right now. I'd bring him on
Play
with
with Saka.
25 minutes left to go and change the game.
Super sub.
Worked really well. Why not do it again?
But the viewers drop as soon as we start talking about England. So,
true. That's absolutely
ask this
true.
question. Please ask: should we sell either Tanguy or Gio to raise funds?
Both for me.
Iggy, you want to take this one?
Gio.
Both for me. For me, they both got to go. Listen. Yeah, for me, they both got to go. I've not been. These guys, for me, lack consistency, and that is the biggest thing that's got to change at Tottenham Hotspur. We need more reliable players that turn it on more regularly than not. And these guys, for me, don't get me wrong, very talented, but very.
Iggy, is there an argument?
Would you not give them a chance?
Is there an argument for saying, and maybe Bobby was going to say something similar, for them just not being managed well since they've been at Spurs, and what's happened with Pochettino leaving, and then Mourinho, and we know how he's sort of what he ended up doing with Tanguy. Let me finish, and then Gio's sort of issues with injury, never really came back and got himself back into the shape he was in previously. I do think that I would like to see. I think that when it comes to management, from a management perspective, I think Gio, you could get more out of Gio because of his work rate and his attitude. And I'd like to see that happen because I think there's a player there that does have the things that we're looking for in a player. I think Tanguy, as much as I love him and he is incredible to watch, I think his attitude and his personality aren't really good for the Premier League. I don't think he has enough in the Premier League to get to that level. But I think Gio, I would like to see Gio managed properly by a good manager, or a good management manager that's going to get the best out of him.
Mr. Bob?
I disagree with Brian Ireland, and it's a personal thing. From the little clippets I've seen,
so personal.
From it's a personal thing. I hate you. No, it's not. I just the little bits I've seen from Tanguy. I'll be honest, I've not seen it since Gaza. There's little movements. Little bits. Of skills,
exactly. Little bits.
And I think he needs to get it right up here, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And hopefully Nuno can do that. I'd like to see Nuno have a chance with both of them. Just to see how it goes. And if he doesn't do it in Jan, get rid of him. He's not going to depreciate. He's not going to depreciate between now and Jan. And if he hasn't proved it by Jan, move him. But for me, I think if he gets his head right, he can be the best midfielder in the world. He's got potentially the best. He could be the best, but he just needs to get that right. And the physical right.
Bob, for me, there's too many. We've had Dele Alli like that. We've got too many of those players that potentially are very good, but what they're delivering is very little. That's my argument with it. And if there's, you're right though. If anyone can get a tune out of them,
exactly
with Nuno's style and the way he likes to play football, there's a chance. But we are leaving it there to chance on the hope. Fingers crossed. Let's hope that they and I can't be dealing with that no more. I can't be dealing with these potentially good players. We have too many of those in that club at the moment. They need to deliver. Maybe they need to deliver. So for me, I would look to change it, because in the time that they've been there, even though we've had like a turmoil within the team, I haven't seen enough with them. I'm not talking necessarily from a technical point of view. I'm talking about as a character.
Yeah.
When you look at somebody in the eyes, and you say, "Is that the guy?" Gascoigne. You just mentioned Gascoigne. Oh. Gascoigne had it, man. In a sense, it wasn't just talented. He had the hunger, the bite. You can play him in a shit. You can play him in a shit team. You play him in a shit team, and he still will stand out. But not just from the technical point of view, from that hunger, and the will to win. That part I need to see.
100%.
Bobby,
sorry, Cody.
You know I love you, Bobby, and I know exactly what you're trying to say in terms of like the ceiling that Tanguy and Ndombele has.
Yeah.
But Tanguy and Ndombele gets tired getting out of bed in the morning. Paul Gascoigne would go and play squash for 3 hours after a game. Like there's no comparing the level of energy that they bring to the game. But I understand what you're saying. But man, he's got a long way to go to be put in the same breath as Gaza, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And do you guys, I mean, there's somebody asked the question, so I'm going to ask it to the panel. But Sancho, do you think he'll be okay at United, or do you flop out? Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Because I'm going to talk about whether that, but it goes for me. This goes a lot deeper on whether he'll be a success or not. Listen, he is a quality player at what he did. He went to Man City. Funnily enough, I don't know if you know this, but I'm sure you'll believe me. We were linked with Jordan Sancho before he went to Man City, but we didn't want to pay the money for him. Shock horror. He's gone to Borussia Dortmund. He's done a wonderful job. And United, after 2 years, seem to have got their man. But the thing that has got to me with this and is fueling my burning desire to destroy Daniel Levy single-handedly is, if you look at this, Manchester United protest long and hard for the Super League. We know how hardcore they went. They went into the stadium. They did everything. A lot of the violence, everything, obviously, we don't condone. How do the board respond? Here you go. Here is a £73 million player that you've wanted. He's here. They've now started discussions, apparently, with the Real Madrid defender.
They've got money. They've got money, though, Brian.
But listen, we've got money. We've got money. We just choose not to spend it. Arsenal have been linked with, whether you agree with the amount or not, they've needed a centre-back. They're in advanced negotiations with Ben White for 50 million. We all know Chelsea are going to spend money. We all know Man City are going to spend money. So the question for me is not whether Sancho will be a flop, which I don't think he will. I think he'll shine through. He's got the talent. He'll be a superstar. It just goes to show again the state that we're in. That's my biggest thing with that.
I just don't see it with Sancho. Maybe it's because I don't watch German football that much, but for England, I can remember 2 good games for England. I just don't see it. Again,
with Sancho, I don't think he's a player that Man United needed. I think they're more than covered in the wings. With
they're right wing.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
They haven't had a player in their right wing since
they've got Greenwood. Greenwood is there.
Greenwood's not a right winger.
He's been playing there. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but he's not a right winger.
Dan James is a kind of
the quality of those players compared to Sancho and where Sancho's at is different.
Well, guess what? Dan James might be available for Spurs if Sancho's signing it.
We've got Jack Clark.
That'd be a pure Tottenham signing, that would, wouldn't it?
We've got Jack Clark yet.
Yeah, Jack Clark's a good.
It's only 82.
Not about
you guys are being
Clark.
lazy.
Being available and being affordable is 2 different things. And you would know Levy. He's already messing around with that Japanese defender. 15 million, 10 million, whatever it is. He's arguing about the 5 million again.
We're
going to go for.
And can I just say, if we do get that guy for 15 million, 16 million, whatever, he's literally already paid for because of the Foyth sell. Yeah.
So what are they even waiting for then? I don't understand it. Why not just go do it? Boom. He wants to come to Tottenham, 15 mil.
Yeah.
Pounds.
Well, that's
because Levy doesn't do that. He always
exactly. That's what he does, isn't it? He tries and drives it down as much. Signing on, exactly. Just go do the business, get it done. Let's move on to the next target.
Listen, I think you can pretty much listen. We all speak fluent Levy, and if we're rumoured and it's making the media, it means that we're not going for this player over here. We've already got something in place over here. So just don't swallow it.
And big up Kugumanim for the basically $5 super sticker, 5001 super sticker. Will Ben Davies earn a testimonial? No, but we can give him one if you'd like.
Winks is being tracked by more clubs than he's ever tracked back.
Oh, good. They can come pick him up.
But
I'm going to pick him up.
Villa and Man United apparently are after him.
Let him have him. Give him a ride, Bob. I'll pick him up.
2 right. I don't want to give him a ride. But I'm certainly...
in America, that means take him someplace in your car, Bob?
In England, that means something a little bit different.
Yeah, I'll certainly pay for his taxi.
Give him a lift.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
There you go.
Give him a piggyback. Manchester.
Let's see who else we got here in the comments. Here's another one from Steve Hitchin. There you are, buddy. Welcome. So Daniel, I know you've got to be at least
leave him alone.
You say you're different people.
It's the same guy because Steve Hitchin appeared as soon as we said it's not the same guy.
Don't ruin the fun, Brian.
I know.
Do you want to know and Partici's favorite tea flavors? I don't want to know anything. You're supposed to ask us the question, Steve. But Steve, how are you? Steve, I do have a question for you. How are you feeling right now that you're being basically railroaded by Daniel Levy and Joe? And has Kenneth stolen your place as Joe's new favorite boy toy on his yacht? Inside jokes for the THFC rant stream.
Don't listen to him, Steve. Don't listen to him. Ignore him, Steve.
Mr. K, why are you? Or is that you? Or is that Cody? He's putting comments up for Mr. K. What does it say? I can't see it. Mr. K.
Cody's Mr. K's muted again.
Yeah, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Don't tell me.
I'll put my hand up. Okay, myself personally, when I close my eyes and I'm away from everyone else, yeah, this guy he's the next superstar. Don't sell him. Don't touch him. Don't talk bad about him. Give him a pat on the back. This guy's amazing. I've seen bits of him. No, not those bits. I've seen little clips of him, little glimpses of absolute magic. I saw him once. He was in the midfield. He crossed the ball to the right wing, and then the guy ran like Tarzan all the way to the front to get the ball on the end of it. The ball never came, of course. Didn't matter. The point was this. Whoever says he can't move, he can. Obviously, your guys are saying, right, yeah, that he doesn't exercise enough, and therefore he runs out of breath just eating McDonald's. Yeah, we take the mick and everything, right? Yeah, but the boy has been trying a little bit harder than last season. And I believe that one more season coming to next year, new manager, new director of football.
But as a false nine, though.
Trying a little bit harder? Like you're a professional
you want him to play
footballer.
striker?
You don't try a little bit harder.
Everyone's speaking at once. Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. K, the question was false nine. So that's a striker, basically.
Yes.
And you think Tengi's going to be a striker?
I think he can do it.
No, not for me.
I've seen him operate. I've seen him operate inside the penalty box, right? Yeah, and the guy has got a nose for knowing where the ball's going to be. That's number one.
He could be attacking midfielder, which gets in the box as well, right?
Listen,
number two,
he's comfortable in the number 10 position if he gets pushed that far. Okay, so that means he knows how to go backwards and forwards. He knows how to play with his back. Sorry.
Yeah.
He knows how to play with his back. Go on.
No, I was saying, it's a question to you, really, mate. As a false nine, he'd have to do what essentially Kane's been doing all season.
Yeah.
Playing those passes in and scoring. You could see, and I'm his biggest fan. You can see him doing that.
No. You're right, Bob. You're right. Yeah. If he pushes himself to get physically like an athlete, and then he does what Poch did to Son, we've got ourselves an amazing machine.
Why do you think he's going to do that? We've had him for how long? And he's shown nothing remotely close to that.
Okay, let me answer your question there. Let me answer you to one way, right? Yeah, and that is this guy when he's in the training pitch and when he's on the football pitch, his communication is the worst out of the whole team. Right? In terms of how he speaks to people and how they speak back to him. Okay. He doesn't have that type of form of communication, right? You're get rid of Sissoko. The only person that can speak to him, he's going to be by himself. Oh, what have we gone to? Right.
I did it, Mr. K. It's letting us know that we have 1 minute left.
Is that his face, because of his cultural background, where he's from, and the type of person he is, he looks like he doesn't give a muppets. But that's not the real person inside. Okay? So when you see that, you think to yourself, oh, he's not giving it something. That's just his facial expression. You know?
No. I'm not judging what I was saying earlier, Mr. K. I'm not judging the guy about it. No, I'm not judging. I judge a player for what I see on the pitch, and for me, I agree with what Bob's saying. The guy is talented. I'm not going to take that away from him. He can, with the right management and the right style of football, it can work. But for me, this waiting for something to happen. We've got too many players like that at the club already. We need players there now, ready to deliver. And for me, waiting for someone to train or to get fit 3 quarters in the season, for me, is inexcusable. It cannot be done. The other thing is as well, why wasn't he playing? If he's that good and talented, why wasn't he in this French team where they lack a number 10? They play Griezmann there. They don't have a real number 10, and Ndombele should be in that team. So
is that the same French team? Is that the same French team with the same manager that decided he's going to not play Anelka? Or Nasri? Sorry, or Nasri. Yeah, is that the same man? Is that the same guy?
Robot.
They're the same team. No. I don't care what the French team does, right? Yeah, because I've seen them do nonsense things.
No. What my argument was,
when you say he didn't play him, right? Yeah, I know that team is full of politics anyway.
No.
So
My
there's
argument
probably
was,
reasons
if Ndombele is as talented and as quality as he is, he should be in that national team because they desperately need a number 10. Sorry, Stel.
They will now. Now that they have this humiliation,
Let's go to Stel's comment, and then we'll move on to the last question of the night and outros because we are past our time already. Mr. Stel?
Yeah, just 3 things on Ndombele. Number 1, he's an absolutely fantastic football player, and he absolutely stays at Tottenham. Number 2, his best position is centre mid. Not attacking mid, not holding mid, centre midfield. And number 3, when you've got a team that spent the whole season playing pragmatic football that bypasses the midfield to attack, what do you want him to do? How can he ever fit in and blend in and show us what he's capable of? He needs to be playing in the right system under the right type of manager, and he will prove everyone what a good player he is.
Give him a chance.
Until we get that kind of manager, it's not going to happen. That's my opinion.
And I think if it was me personally, I'd sell Giovanni Lo Celso before I sell anyone else. But last question of the night, and let's try to make it quick with your answer. And that was from Lappers 82 or 88 or whatever his name is. But no defense, Lappers. It's too far up there for me to go find now. But
82.
Lappers 82.
Lappers 82. I just call him Lappers. But from Lappers, one possible Kane replacement, if one exists.
You know what? The one I would have wanted is going to Leicester.
Has gone to Leicester.
Yeah, gone to Leicester. Patson Daka. I had eyes on him, definitely. So that's a real shame. I would have said him.
If we had the metal, we'd go for Embrola. But forget that. I think we're going to end up with Ings.
Yeah, what about Danny Ings? Code.
Yeah, 8.5 million. He's up for 15 million. I reckon Levy will knock it down to 8.5. He's got 1 year left.
There's a joke there. I want to know the joke, guys. Come on.
No, they like to troll me with Danny Ings because it puts me on a Daigle rant.
No.
Legit. 8.5 million.
It's not legit.
He's worth 15. Levy will bring it down to 8.5 plus extras. And you know what? He's perfect. He only played 1 game in 5 anyway.
Mr. Kane, you're on fire tonight.
A Harry Kane replacement here.
Mr. Kane's on a roll.
Replacement for Harry Kane, not a backup.
Yeah, but he'll do that. He'll play like Harry Kane. He'll get injured like Harry Kane, and then someone will have to fill in.
Will not play like Harry Kane.
Harry Kane missed like 4 or 5 games last season. Ings misses like in seasons.
I know.
So the player I would honestly say, and
Harry Kane shadow scores more goals than Danny Ings.
I do mean this when I say this player.
Ings is class.
Tony.
The player, no, I'm not even to say Tony, Bob. And the talk of Sancho coming, and we're just talking about, I swear to God, I would make number 1 chance Greenwood. If he's been everywhere and he's still not getting played, they keep signing players to think about, okay, Sancho's coming, where am I going to play? At some point, he's going to think, with the type of personality he has, I want to play first team football. And I've said this all season, last season, when he came in the season before. He is sensational.
Good player, yeah.
Absolutely sensational. And obviously, I'm with Shy on this. I didn't know a lot about Patson Daka until I heard Danny, the bun, talking about him. So I did my research and had a lot of people talking about him. But for me, it would have to be Greenwood.
It's a good show.
Play.
Next.
All joking aside, Will, I'd actually consider Danny Ings.
I think you've lost the plot.
But no. Danny Ings plus another. Be the other striker on.
Plus a Haaland. Or
Get a younger player and get an experienced player. If you're going to get rid of 1 Kane, you need 2 players to replace him.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have to bring 2 strikers in.
1 experienced and 1 young.
So Danny Ings is half a striker, so you'd need 1.5 more.
For me personally, there's 2 players. You probably one of them is Andrea Bellotti, and the other one for me would be Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say DCL.
Money, mate. They're building, aren't they? I don't
50-60 million he would cost.
Yeah, but you're getting at least double the amount for that for Kane. So it's
we're getting triple, Iggy, but what we get to spend, they are 2 different things.
Okay, that's fair enough, Brian. That's a fair point. But yeah, for me, Andrea Bellotti, you can probably get him for 25 million. because Torino they're going to sell. So 25, 30 million, you could get him in. Calvert-Lewin right now is probably the one because he's got the Premier League experience. He'd probably be the one I'd go for because I think he's stepped it up this year.
Yeah, he has. He's
More
definitely
of a
stepped it up.
target man,
Bamford,
though. He
guys?
has no hold-up play.
Bamford's a good shout.
What about Bamford?
No,
No, not for me.
Not ahead of the other two for me, Bob.
no, he's not. No,
I agree. I just thought I'd put it out there.
he's had a decent sort of season, but that's about it.
Remember, we got an up and coming Dane Scarlett. Let's hope.
Yeah.
It's like
I hope these
16,
boys, I hope these boys get a bit more of a look in. I'll be interested to see the likes of him and a few of the other boys that played in the FA Cup.
The conference.
Yeah,
Conference
absolutely.
League.
It's a good window. It's a good window. I hope they get a bit more chance. Go on.
Mr. Stout.
I would probably take a punt and bring in someone like Yedda or Depay from the French league, who both of them only scored.
The pay's
Depay's
gone to
gone
Barca,
Barca,
man.
man.
Bo's gone Barca, man.
I'll bring in Yedda. I'll bring in Yedda. He
Yedda.
scored
Ben
6
Yedda.
goals less than Mbappe. No striker we're going to bring in is going to ever fill the boots of Kane. So just bring in someone.
You're not gonna
We
get
take a
Kane
bit of
anyway.
so bring in someone like Yedda. 20 goals in the French league. Even if he gets 10 or 15 for us, that's good enough. As long as we buy goal-scoring midfielders.
Agreed.
We can't have another 3-4 years of depending on strikers to carry
need
the
goals
team
from
with
other
75%
positions.
of the goals.
Yeah,
Correct.
agreed,
So I'd
Phil.
bring in
Messi?
goal-scoring midfielders.
That's why I wanted Neves. That's why I mentioned Neves earlier on because of his quality and the amount of goals he scored from midfield.
Messi? What about Messi?
Good shot.
Yeah, free agent.
I wouldn't
Messi.
mind. I wouldn't mind him.
He
Yeah.
just signed a new contract in Barcelona to 2023, didn't he?
He's a free agent.
It's free agent.
He's not a
agent,
winger
yeah.
like Sissoko,
He
though,
just
is
signed a
Bob?
contract with Barcelona to 2023, didn't he?
Yeah,
No,
but
I
if
thought it's
Messi
something
comes, then
different.
Winks will have to stay because apparently they like each other.
What? Winks?
I'd rather, if we're going to go in for somebody like that, I'd rather get Ronaldo and then have him play striker, to be honest with you.
So much better.
Ronaldo.
I think
We're
wages
kidding,
might
Aaron.
be a problem.
Aaron, we're
Messi.
taking the piss,
We're
mate.
Aaron.
Calm
We're
down.
kidding, mate. Come on, man.
Aaron's on it today.
And
Weghorst. Some
Mr.
people are
Cody.
mentioning Weghorst and Jovic.
Mr. Cody.
Red Coaster.
Mr. Cody.
There's no replacing him. So I think if you lose Harry Kane, it's going to change the way that you need to play football at Tottenham Hotspur. So it's not just a question of one player that you bring in. It's a question of completely changing the face of the club. So it's a difficult, any of the names that have been said are fine shout outs. I wouldn't mind Weghorst, but like, what would we end up doing with the Kane money? We would probably do the same thing that we did with the Gareth Bale money, is we would divide it and try and plug as many holes as possible with pieces of mid quality with some upside, and maybe one or two of those players would end up working out the way Eriksen did. So yeah, I don't know. It's an impossible question to answer.
Probably get Oliver Giroud.
I would go for Ivan Toney. I would go for Ivan Toney and then a DCL. Those would be my two purchases. I wouldn't take a piss on Danny Ings.
I got one for you. Who's Andre Silva from Frankfurt, affordable. Portuguese as well. 34 appearances, 30 goals last season, 5 assists. Very, very good display in a Bundesliga side. I think that would be a good punt.
Is he a Mendes player?
Yeah, I believe he might be. You also have to take into account that you are going to have to invest in a 10, a proper 10. We still haven't replaced Christian Eriksen, so that position needs to be addressed. And that's what Harry Kane has been doing or did last season. He played both positions because he could do it. So you bring in a guy like Silva who's going to bang in the goals. You got to bring in somebody else who's going to feed him.
Unless you don't play formation that doesn't have a
Eduardo, yeah. That's a shout.
Celtic.
That's a shout, yeah.
Yeah, Felix, maybe. He hasn't really shown his skills.
Too expensive. It'll be too expensive.
I think he's a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
I don't think he will. I think he's kind of in a flop with Atletico, to be frank.
Do you think Levy's really playing a game with us right now? He's going to splash the cash for the new striker.
Nope.
I don't think Kane will go. I don't think Kane's going.
I think
I
Kane's
don't think so either. I
think they're going to keep Kane and
I don't think
because
he doesn't want to. I think because it's the Levy doesn't want him to, and the price is too high.
Man. Harry Kane's gone.
Kane wants to go. Yeah,
He's going to go next season. He's not going this summer.
For sure.
He's going to go.
I don't
this
think he
summer.
lets him go this season.
120, 130. 30 million.
If Kane goes right now, we're a mid-table team.
He's not going.
I've got a feeling
Not
that
if we spend that
City's
money
gonna
correctly.
come
I could
strong.
spend that money and keep us where we are.
City's going to come strong for him, I think.
City have never done that before. They have their highest. They've only ever paid $80 million for a player. All of a sudden, they're going to drop 120, 125. Don't
See,
say
If any
Yeah,
club is
really
Brian, it'll be
frustrating.
them.
Sorry, can I got a
Sure,
question,
Sit down.
Iggy? Sorry. Who's this Fiorentina striker then?
Vlahovic is a 21-year-old. He's had a really good season.
One good
First season at Fiorentina, but it is just the one season
one
he's had.
season.
And he's
There's a lot of games,
21.
though.
He's a
Iggy's
21
got
year.
games.
No, he's done very well. I'm not saying he hasn't. He's a very good player. Technically, really good player. Good physique, but it's one season, and he's done it in Italy. And I don't know. You're taking a big gamble for him to come to England and to do it. And like I said, he's 21 years old. So potential, yes, but I don't know if you're talking about a replacement for Kane. A lot of pressure.
How about if Kane goes? Why not go for Vinicius and get him in on a permanent? he didn't let us down.
Do you know what? At this point, I'd rather
I thought you were joking, Bobby.
I'd rather go to Wolves and get Jimenez. If
Yeah,
he's right,
That's
We
if
just
he's
don't
he's
know
right.
what he's going
If
to be.
he's right,
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
don't know
he's right.
how his injury's going to be.
if he's okay, then he's surely got to be. I mean, he's done it in the Premier League. He's physically
True,
very
he is
strong,
proven.
and he's a good striker, man. So it could be a shout, providing everything is in place.
Like Daniel Levy, if you are watching, you're a bald-headed. Very much so. Do you know what that guy's quite. Do you know what that guy? Whoever that guy was, he speaks very wise words. I've got a lot of time for what that guy.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch under the bleep thing. What was it you said? I missed it. Don't say it.
We don't want to monetize my channel here. But anyway, we are done now. So outros. If you want an outro, start with Cody. Or we'll go backwards. So start with Shy, and we'll go back up to Cody the way we came in, and then I'll close this out. So Shy, tell us who you are, where we can find you, and what you're doing next.
Okay, so I'm Shy from Tottenham Away, and I get joined by these lovely guys with me, Brian Daigle and Stelios and Brian Island, and we do a lovely podcast, YouTube video on a Monday. And come like and subscribe to us, and obviously to this channel too, and everybody else's channels that you're going to hear about in about 2 minutes.
Mr. Iggy. Do we call you Iggy Pop or no?
No, just Iggy's fine.
Iggy.
Tottenham Away, I'm there. We're going to be coming out with a show very soon with JP. You'll find me there, and you can also find me on Twitter as Iggy Prince. So Iggy Prince is there. So guys, look forward to speaking to you soon and the next show. Lovely evening, guys. Thank you for having us.
Yep. Thank you for coming on, Iggy. Appreciate it. And Mr. Brian Ireland.
Tottenham Away as well. The Monday podcast. Brian and I are doing the two Brians tomorrow night, 7 p.m. So tune in if you want to get a rant. If you missed it tonight, I know there's a guy in the comments who was begging Daggles to do a rant. I was like, you tuned in a bit late. He did do one, but so tune in tomorrow night for the two Brians. And if, like Iggy said, they've got a show coming up as well. And Stell's doing a show he's about to talk about, so I'll let him do that for next week. And so check us out, Tottenham Away, and then please subscribe to Will Stewart's THFCRants and everybody else on the panel who's got their own stuff going on.
All links are in the description. Makes it easy to find.
Yep.
Mr. K.
Right.
You're
okay,
muted,
sorry,
Mr. K.
Just leave muted, guys. Leave muted.
I was going to leave myself muted. Guys, viewers out there, we're very shy of just nearly 100 likes. If you could smash a few likes, that would really, really help the algorithm out. I sometimes appear inside the chat here at Will Stewart's THFC's Rants channel. Sometimes I pop up into the panel like now. I do my own show on Tuesday nights with Brian over here, Daigle, and another person by the name of Awesome O. We've been doing a show called The Three Wise Men, where we look to find out more about what's happened in the past, what's currently happening, and what could possibly happen in the future. Educate, enlighten, and inspire others.
Mr. Stelios.
Yeah, another one from Tottenham Away to Brian's show tomorrow night. Monday night, we've got our podcast. We've got the wonderful Arthur. If you don't know who Arthur is, he made that very emotional plea to Daniel Levy a couple of months ago. Looking forward to
That's gonna be
hearing
fun.
his stories
Yeah.
from way back when. And then on Tuesday, Shy and I, we've got Ian Hickman from Wolverhampton, hopefully telling us what to expect and what to be careful of with Nuno. So, yeah.
And then thanks,
Oh,
lad.
and give
Keep
Will
up the
Stewart a
bad
big
work.
like. Give Will Stewart a big like.
No, don't do that, and don't subscribe either. Better not do it.
Just pat him
Don't-
lightly on his
don't
bald
do
head,
it.
like he's Benny Hill.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Thumbs up, man.
Reverse
That actually
psychology.
worked fairly well
Reverse
yesterday.
psychology.
And then Mr. BobSpur himself. And folks, if you have not subscribed to BobSpur right now, and we should have done Bob first, to be honest with you, you better go and do it now, because this show will be airing on BobSpur TV next Thursday night at 9 p.m. And Daz Coys with a £5 super sticker. Thank you very much for that donation. Appreciate it. And Bob, take it away.
Brian Bagel.
Brian Bagel, yeah.
Had to get it in there.
So I've got BobSpur TV. I've got in the wall show, which I normally do at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. This week it falls after the England game. That should be interesting. So I will do it after the England game, be it extra time or penalties, or we'll probably beat him 3-0 in 90 minutes. And then, like Will says, I will be doing a 9 at 9 next Thursday, which will be mayhem, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Oh,
Bob
yeah,
gets to be in the hot seat.
Like and subscribe to everyone.
Yep, all 5 channels. If you're watching this show and you haven't subscribed to all 5 channels in the description, you are wrong. Mr. Brian Daigle.
Yes, you can also find me at Tottenham Away, one of the Tottenham Away boys. I said, damn it, when Still said who we've got on the podcast, because I won't be there. It's my first day and I'm training. And of all people, I did not want to miss. It was going to be Arthur. That's the guy I really wanted to see. If anyone wants to see a real Spurs fan who's been through the good, the bad and ugly and bleeds Tottenham Hotspur, it'll be this wonderful guy with so many wonderful things to say about Spurs. We got the 2 Brians tomorrow, and yes, the beginning will be a rant. I don't know who it's going to be about this week, but I'm sure I can think of someone within the next few seconds to think who I could dedicate all my rage to. And yes, like and subscribe to everyone else on the channel. And Will, thanks for having us, buddy, and Cody.
Mr. Cody MacDonald.
Yep, you can find me if you're looking for me regularly. You'll find me on Tuesdays here on THFCRants doing the Bald and Bearded Tottenham Boys show. But if you watch Spurs YouTube, you'll see me around as well. And I will end on this. I watched today the closing farewell ceremonies to White Hart Lane from a few years back, and it was a little bit depressing and saddening to be seeing the position that we were in at that point, kind of ready to make that next step as a club. But I will say this, it was a stark reminder that in football, things can change very quickly, as they have for us and as they might be able to again. So it's the hope that kills you, but don't give up hope. I'm not.
Once again, hashtag Cody for PR. He needs to get this job, people. He needs this job. Give it to him.
Will, sorry, can you come back to me a minute? Is that all right?
Sure, Shy.
Thank you. I just want to say my name's Johnny Einstein. I'm lonely. Please subscribe to my channel. Please, I beg you, subscribe to my channel. It's Chelsea Spurs. My name is Johnny Einstein. Please, I'm a lonely person. Please subscribe.
Johnny's gonna appreciate that, Shy, for sure.
And Johnny's link is in the description. But I just want to thank. I want to thank all of you guys for coming on the show tonight, and for the people who filled in. It was great having you. Iggy is now a permanent member of the 9 at 9 crew.
Hey.
So
Iggy, what do you think of the
there,
intro?
Iggy.
What do you think of the intro?
Loved it, man. I love you guys' intros. It's top notch. Yours, his. You guys are brilliant at it. I love it.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And then for everybody else who's watching it, if you think we're all a bunch of losers, make sure you hit that like and subscribe.
Never.
And if you like us, hit that thumbs down. And we will see you. The next show that I'm doing here on the channel will be Saturday night, our late night THFC rant show. So if you're in the US or if you just like staying up till ridiculous hours of the night, in the UK and you want to come on and have your say, so Mr. Scott M, if you're available, or anyone else, if you want to come on the show and cuss me out, you are welcome to do so for as long as you like. But thank you guys very much for watching. This is the 9 at 9 p.m. Everybody can wave or do whatever you want to do.
Forza Italia tomorrow.
Yep.
Levy
Go out. Italy. Levy out. Let's do this all.
Saturday, 10 p.m.
Good night, Matt.
Cowboys.
Take care, guys.
Stay strong,
guys.
stay Spurs, and we'll see you next time.
Go on, you Spurs.
Let's go now.